James H. Reeve phone in.
The word cool. In media speak, it's quite an elastic word. Why cool? Why, oh why?
Call now on 0161 288 0103.
I want to know, where does neck of the woods come from? And also, my grandma used to say the price of fish.
Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Rule of thumb. Apparently, it's in the days when gentlemen could beat their wives with a stick, but the stick must be no thicker than the gentleman's thumb.
Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Hysteron, proteron. Now, am I right that such a term exists?
The James H. Reeve phone in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Yes, it's Monday night and time for that. Those are a few of the things that we've done in the past on Queries and Theories. I know it's a rubbish title, but I haven't got a lot of time to think of a better one. Anyway, that's what we called it previously on Queries and Theories. Now, this is last Monday, just to remind you of what we did and help you to understand the object of the exercise. We had to go to quite a lot of trouble to recollect what we discussed last Monday, because in a thoughtful and efficient manner, Jackie deleted all the everything from last week. Anyway, we managed to retrieve it, not to worry. And so, what did we discuss? Well, I'll tell you. We started off with why was the Stars and Stripes, the American flag, the wrong way round in certain circumstances, and we delved into that quite deeply and discovered en route the interesting fact that Harry Truman, President of the United States, changed the rug in the Oval Office so that the American eagle is permanently looking towards the olive branch of peace rather than the arrows of war. That's one of the things that emerged, just demonstrating the United States' global peaceful intentions. They're doing very well at it, aren't they? Pieces of 8, the old pirate standby. What was a piece of 8? Well, we found out it's a coin which could be divided both arithmetically and physically into 8 pieces. Oh yes, a coin that you could actually snap into 8 bits and use it as loose change. It's a fact, and that's why American money is referred to as a quarter and 2 bits. That persists to this day. The submarine at Salford, well, we think there was at least one. There might have been more than one. The submarine which visited Salford docks in, we now know, 1967. It was called HMS Grampus, and I've got some more information about it later. See what I mean? Constantly researching. The origin of the expression 6s and 7s, we sorted that out. All to do with rivalry in the Lord Mayor's Parade in London. Who should be in 6th or 7th place? That is a fact. Origin of the expression passing the buck. We sorted that out. It's, well, like a lot of these things, there are various theories, but the one which I personally favour is it comes from playing cards and a piece of buckshot used to indicate who is the dealer. Believe me. Paul Simon. It's long been believed, rumoured, that Paul Simon wrote his song Homeward Bound on Widnes Station, and this was confirmed. We also learnt that Widnes Station is, or was, sometimes called Farnworth Station. Not the Farnworth near Bolton, but a completely different Farnworth. And the plaque commemorating Paul Simon's wait for a train on Farnworth Station is no longer there. It's in Liverpool Lime Street because it kept getting pinched or vandalised. A bit of a childhood favourite here. Why was licorice sometimes called Spanish? We sorted that out. Something that we didn't really sort out fully is lemonade crystals, as they were sometimes known, but popularly referred to by oiks, schoolboys, myself included, as kali. And we sort of fathomed that one out. It seems to be a Malayan word or something like that. A bit of trivia about Gilligan's Island, and also we discussed swans, pubs called the Swan with 2, leave it, either necks or nicks, and the reason they're called that. And there are several in the area. Some call the swan with 2 nicks, some call the swan with 2 necks. It's all to do with markings on the beak, you see. So there we are. Now that I have laid myself before you, I think you should understand the object of the exercise. At any point, you're more than welcome to call us on 0161 288 0103 if you have a query then someone may, more than likely on past evidence, will have a theory to fit it. That's where we got the name from. I don't think it's going to win any prizes, but it's better than calling it a horse, a bucket and a spoon, isn't it? 0161 288 0103 if you've got any of those. And also, matters arising in recent weeks. You see, what you think it's all beer and skittles, this game, but it isn't, is it? I've sorted out one or two things in response to inquiries which have arrived during the week. A film with the late Kenneth Williams in it, in which he played a heroic role. Not a comedy role. I've found it. What else? The origin of sling your hook. The expression sling your hook. There are various theories about this, and by chance, over the weekend, I came across something which I think is the genuine explanation. All will be revealed between now and 1 a.m. Why is New Zealand called New Zealand? That was emailed in. I've found out. Oh, yes. Why are German submarines called U-boats? Well, that's a straightforward answer, but there's also a subtler answer, which I shall reveal to you. See what I mean? There I am. While you're watching the World Cup, I'm diligently researching, okay? And information about, and I have to say, I had never heard of this, a film about the explorer Roald Amundsen, who was played by Sean Connery. Had an inquiry about that. I've got chapter and verse on it. We've definitely got news about the TV show which had the Goodies and several of the Monty Python team in before they became the Goodies and the Monty Python team. There's been a bit of argument about that. I've found out what it was. And what else? One or two that I'll chuck at you later. Rugby league film with Dennis Waterman in it, and so on and so forth. And a lad called in last week or the week before, whose name was Chadwick, wanted to know where the surname Chadwick came from. Got it. I've got it for you. I'll do it later. It's dead easy. 0161 288 0103. Start us off whenever you like. And I must do this. You can also communicate via our website, which is key103.co.uk. You'll find our vast and entertaining page there with me on it, and one or two touches of whimsy, and you can email us through that. And you can, of course, text. Now, in the light of recent events, I think it's only appropriate that I explain to you fully, although personally I wish you wouldn't, I explain to you fully the implications of texting. And I've gone to all the trouble of getting the full instructions here. So this is for Alan in Bolton. This goes out to Alan in Bolton. This is for you. A big hi, a big heads up, right? I'm not saying heads up where, Alan, but here we are. Okay, if you want to text us, then you can text to 63103. 63103. Getting in touch with Key 103 through your mobile is fast and easy, and we can keep you up to date with new competitions and offers. Text messages sent to Key 103 on 63103 are charged to you at standard network rate, normally no more than 12p, and inclusive on most major network contracts. You will receive a reply to each text message, which will be charged at 25p. Due to the nature of the text message you receive from Key 103, they will still be charged at 25p to your phone bill or prepaid credit, regardless of network contract. If you have a prepaid phone, then you will need to have enough credit on your phone to receive a reply. Normally, you receive a reply to your message to Key 103 immediately after you have sent it. However, sometimes there are delays on the mobile networks, which mean you will receive a reply much later or not at all. This is normally due to a large number of texts being sent at the time. Unfortunately, this is outside the station's control. Your network operator should be able to tell you if there's been a delay on the system. At the end of our reply, we'll ask you if you want to receive exclusive news and offers from us, and send a reply with the word join. This joins you up as a member of our Key VIP text club, where you'll receive competitions, offers and other information from Key 103 and our partners straight to your mobile phone. Each message will cost you 25p to receive. If at any time you wish to unsubscribe from this club text, the word stop to 63103. You won't hear from us again unless you get back in touch. Key 103 operates a series of text alert services. It's Key 103 News. These are independent of Key 103's VIP club, and the messages sent out separately. If you wish to subscribe or unsubscribe to any of our alert services, please see Key 103 alerts page for more information. Your home is at risk if you don't keep up the payments. Okay, there we are. Al, hope you got that, son. Right, no need for us to fall out tonight, or for any of your pals to write in and complain. Lovely. 0161 288 0103. Oh, somebody's texting. Could you repeat that? Right, 0161 288 0103. We'll put you on to Queries and Theories on Key 103 with James H. Reeve. We will start the ball rolling shortly. It's 12 minutes past 10.
Download your World Cup survival guide and live like a footballer's wife. Log on to key103.co.uk with the Lowry Outlet Mall Salford Keys.
Egypt is fantastic.
It's a country where everything's beautiful.
The people are so cool.
When you're here, there's a kind of magic. It's great to be here.
Egyptians treat you so well. Unforgettable beaches.
Egypt is like a dream.
Will I come back? Of course.
Nothing compares to Egypt.
If you left your heart in Egypt too, make sure to say so at the Love Egypt Club at www.egypt.travel.
Like everyone, Mobley, my little mobile phone, gets treated like a star at the Carphone warehouse. But I think it might have started to go to his head. Don't disturb me. I'm in the middle of my seaweed wrap. Yeah, is that a beauty treatment, a song, or a sandwich? Why must I work with these amateurs? Get treated like a star at the Carphone warehouse.
The only thing better than shopping for summer is shopping with someone else's money. Right now at Mersey Shopping Centre in Stockport, as well as all your usual leading fashion stores like River Island, USC and Republic, enter our summer style competition and you could win £250 to spend with Topshop's very own style advisor. Visit the customer service desk at Mersey Shopping Centre Stockport before the end of June to enter the summer style competition and start your summer with style. Terms and conditions apply.
Mom, I just cut myself. I so need one of those wickedly wonderful, fabulously flexible, water-resistant, so amazingly protective, ace-performing, dead comfortable, simply brilliant, fast-healing, super sticky, unbelievably good, extremely neat, totally discreet, oh so cool, work so well I just couldn't live without them plasters.
You mean the Savlon Advanced plasters?
Yeah, sure, whatever.
New Savlon Advanced Plasters, the only family plasters you'll ever need.
This week, Key 103 and Shell want you to discover the ultimate drive. On Key 103's Drive Home every day from 4, we'll be giving you the chance to drive down America's legendary Route 66. Through LA, Vegas, San Francisco, and the Grand Canyon. We've also got a boot full of sat navs to be won. For more chances to win, get to your nearest Shell forecourt, get behind the wheel, turn on Key 103, and get yourself the ultimate driving experience on Route 66. All this week on Drive with Shell. Fueling great movement. The James H. Reeve phone in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Right, it started already. Somebody's being argumentative about the submarine, but anyway, we'll come on to that later. In the meantime, let's get Stuart in Salford on the wireless, because this is what it's all about. Stuart, you're on Key 103. Hello.
Good evening, James.
Where are you now? You sound as if you're going around Cape Horn.
I wish. Heading towards New Zealand, perhaps.
Now then, I'll tell you that. Well, have you any idea why it's called New Zealand?
Well, this was what I was guessing at, really. I think there's a province of the Netherlands called Zeeland.
There is?
When the Dutch settlers settled the Cook Islands, whatever they're called in their old day, they called it New Zealand.
Ish. It's a bit... Well, actually, it's a lot more complicated than that.
Oh, it's not, is it?
Well, it is. It's exceedingly complicated.
Oh, that was me hoping it was just so simple.
Well, Stuart, if I were being kind... But,
you so rarely are.
Well, that's not going to happen, is it? I would give you half a mark for that. But in actual fact... I'll do the whole schmear later.
It was mere conjecture. I was just guessing.
Well, this all arose because of an email I got saying, why is it called New Zealand when it was discovered by Captain Cook? But it wasn't, you see.
Wasn't it now?
No, it was explored by Captain Cook 100 and odd years later.
Were they never called the Cook Islands?
The Cook Islands, now what did they become? Did they become the Sandwich Islands or something? Or... There was some place called the Cook Islands, but... Now, you're forcing me to play my hand early here, but I will do, right?
Well, I can change the subject, because...
No. Listen to this.
Last thing you want me to do.
Right, Captain Cook explored New Zealand in 17-something or other.
Right.
Hang on, I've got it here. No, I haven't. I've lost it. But it was discovered in, listen to this, 1642 by Abel Tasman.
Right.
Who was Dutch. After whom, of course...
Tasmania and the Tasman Sea, etc., etc.
Absolutely. But then it really does get a bit complicated. Because He named it, when he first discovered it, he named it Stattenland. Are you ready?
I couldn't be readier.
Okay. Meaning the land of the Dutch States General. Okay?
Right, yeah.
Now, does that sound familiar anyway?
The land of the Dutch State General?
Yeah, Staten. Where have you heard that?
Staten Island in part of Manhattan, part of New York, yeah.
Which was, of course, a Dutch colony which used to be called...
New Amsterdam.
New Amsterdam. So then...
Can I have me half a point now?
Well, no, I want to talk you to death. Right? The first... look, I'll do all this later, but in actual fact, New Zealand is the second New Zealand, because the first New Zealand was actually New Guinea. It gets better, and it then goes on, it goes on and on and on and on, and in the end they decide, and this has all been done by a New Zealander, all this research, he eventually decides how it came to be called New Zealand, and he names the bloke who gave it the name in 1648. How's that, son? Are you having that?
I am.
Right. Now, if you carry on listening, we'll do the story in full later.
All right, thanks. I've got to go now anyway, James. Well, thank you for the enlightenment.
No, you will be enlightened further, but I've done as much as I can in the time available, and with I've got to have something to work with, Stuart. Obviously, right. But no, it's a really weird story, and there's lots of cross references. But Staten Island, obviously, in New York, New Amsterdam, and a few months ago we talked about why Wall Street is called Wall Street, because there was a wall there to separate the Dutch and the English-British settlers. So it all goes round. You see what I mean? The circle of life. It's all in there. That was Stuart in Salford almost getting there. More coming up later. Let's go to Stretford. 0161 288 0103. That's the way to do it. Ian's in Stretford. You're on Key 103. Hello, son.
Faversham, James.
Pardon me?
I said Faversham.
Oh, Faversham to you too.
You never explained that to Jackie last week, You never got round to explaining it to her.
I did outside afterwards, Stuart.
Ah, right. I thought you were going to enlighten the whole Northwest when you were going to do that, James.
Well, she nips out for a roll-up at the end of the show, you see.
A normal size one, I hope.
Yeah. Oh, aye, absolutely. Well, she stopped the pipe. Because it's,
the ready rub shag and things like that, yeah.
Well, I don't know about that. But, no, I mean, she was when her photograph appeared in Cheshire Life, with her having she'd got her lips around a rejected virgin, and, she thought, no, it's not. It didn't go with a clutch bag.
Oh, I see.
Any road.
Right, well, first of all, a query for you. I hope either yourself or one of your listeners could enlighten me. At the moment, at the weekends, I think it's ITV3 and ITV4 are showing a rerun of Jeeves and Wooster, Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry.
Yeah.
Now, I can remember vaguely in the mists of time, there was an original, and Ian Carmichael played Bertie Wooster. I was just wondering if anybody knew who played Jeeves.
I hoped you were going to ask me that.
Oh, go on then, James, right from the bowels of the knowledge.
Fantastic bloke. A great actor, and a real rum bugger as well, actually. Dennis Price.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yes. I thought it was Donald Sinden or something, but it didn't have that whinge, that nasal whinge that Donald Sinden had. Dennis Price, yes.
Dennis Price.
Brilliant.
Dennis Price he played in the film Kind Hearts and Coronets.
Yes.
Dennis Price. He had a bit of a Ray Reardon hairstyle, a bit of a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He played the man who has to kill 7 of his relatives in order to inherit the estate. Have you seen
Yes, I remember, because it's the same sort of genre as the Lavender Hill Mob and the one with Cary Grant, the American one, Cary Grant. There was one Cary Grant film as well. Very similar genre.
That's right. Now, Alec Guinness played all the relatives that he had to kill.
Yes, that's right. He dressed up as the old lady with the pearls and things like that.
That's right. And Dennis Price, he had a bit of bad luck because he was a bit of a matinee idol. And then his looks became unfashionable, and he struggled for a little bit. But one of the better films he was in, you're a sweaty, aren't you? You'll know this.
Yes.
Yeah. Tunes of Glory.
Yeah, I remember that one, yeah.
He plays an officer in that. And he played Jeeves in Jeeves and Wooster.
Yes.
But apparently he was like an early Oliver Reed.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah, and he gambled all his money away and had to flee the country and ended up living in South Africa or something. But he was a top bloke. I mean, he didn't leave a penny when he died. He was absolutely brassic, and he'd spent it on wine, women, and song, and just
frittered away the rest.
Just squandered the rest, yeah.
That's right. James, just as an aside, I find your programme wonderful, and I did follow you when you were on national radio as well, when you had a programme very, very similar vein. But
I thought of it, mate.
You must have, James, you must have. But anyway, you went into work. I went into work last Monday. This is just a particular aside, and I'll give you the explanation as well. And somebody said, "What was your weekend like?" And I went, a bit like the curate's egg. And left it at that. And all these blank faces, I was seeing a sea of blank faces. And I went, come on, folks, come on. I'm dealing with engineers and that here. It's not the lower end of the market, and there's just the blank faces. And I had to go and look it up on Google for them.
Right.
Do you hear the term, James?
Look, how many times must I tell you? Do you need Google when I'm just on the end of the phone?
Not on a Monday morning, you're not, James.
Right. The curate's egg is a reference to a cartoon which appeared in Punch magazine.
Yes, 1795.
If you say so. And they're all sitting around a table at a meal at a bishop's house.
Correct.
And the curate has just taken the top off his boiled egg, and it's a comment on sycophancy and
yes,
trawling to your superiors. And obviously the egg stinks, and somebody says, "You seem to have got a bad egg there, curate." And he says, "On the contrary, parts of it are excellent."
That's correct,
right.
Yes.
So that's how to crawl up the boss's backside, you see.
That's the one. Well, I quoted that to my son. I've related the story to my son. And he said, well, it's funny you should mention that, Dad. He said that one time at work, he was giving it the mea culpa. And again, it was engineers and that he was dealing with, something going wrong with mea culpa. He said, I'll do my George Washington here. He said, and all these blank faces had never heard the tale of George Washington.
I cannot tell a lie and all that.
Yeah, cherry tree, the whole business.
No.
I mean, it's the lack of... it's not even just general knowledge, it's just knowledge in general, if you see the subtle nuances. But, it's getting ridiculous that the whole of society is dumbing down round about us, James.
Ian, you're right, I am a voice in the wilderness, mate.
An oasis in a cultural desert.
I'm trying to ram a bit of knowledge down people's faces, with no thought for my own safety. And here we are.
Keep up the good work anyway, James, and I hope to in communication with you. No, in communication with you later.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you what. I was going to say friend there, but that's too strong a word. An acquaintance of mine once said, and he's actually quite well known in certain parts. He said he used to do this quite a lot actually, and but this was one of his better ones. He said, "I'm very well thought of round here, in the firm." He said, "I'm well in. They really, I'm very important to them because that's the kind of bloke he is." He said, "In fact, I'd go so far as to say I'm persona non grata."
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Said it absolute straight face. Yeah. Most of us had to leave the room.
Like Del Boy, a bit like Del Boy in All Missiles and Horses.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, Jim, it's been a pleasure, and I suppose it's been all yours, and I'll speak to you again soon.
The pleasure has been...
Yours?
No, it hasn't actually, now I think of it. But Faversham to you, and we'll speak on a further occasion. Thank you. God bless you. There we are. Ian, sweaty, obviously enjoying himself. Oh, I forgot to ask him who he was sticking up for in the World Cup. Not to worry. We know where that leads, don't we? OK, 0161 288 0103. If you want to ask a question, if you want to answer a question, if you just wish to sit back and bask in and be amazed by my own bottomless pit of knowledge, then all you got to do is ring 0161 288 08103. I'll have a look at some of these text messages, which I'm reluctantly accepting. I'm not going through the terms and conditions again. I hurt myself doing that, actually. It loosened quite a lot of phlegm, so I won't be doing that again. But, you know, it costs you something. And email via the website, which is key103.co.uk. We'll have a look at what's arrived on those, and we'll talk to another Hillman in a moment. This is all right. We haven't broken step, really, have we, yet? Excellent. It's 29 minutes past 10 on Key 103.
Key 103's Regen 10, celebrating the rebirth of Manchester.
Harvey Nicks, Selfridges, the biggest Marks and Spencers in Europe, what have they all got in common?
Here we are looking at a pillar box in the middle of Corporation Street. The IRA van was here that ultimately went off and caused the devastation.
This was the heart of where the bomb went off.
In the last 10 years, they've arrived in the North's premier city, making Manchester a shopping mecca. Glenn Barkworth from the Arndale Centre.
What's been fascinating is people watching. Customers as they're coming in, open mouthed and thinking, wow, what is this? We've brought into Manchester a shopping environment you've only seen outside of the UK.
The Arndale has seen a complete transformation, and they're not finished yet.
As far as the regeneration of Manchester Arndale is concerned, you ain't seen nothing.
It's part of what makes Manchester great, which is why the Manchester 10 Awards are being held. To find out more, log on to key103.co.uk.
Key 103's Regen 10, celebrating the rebirth of Manchester.
Sarah's on a bus. The man next to her wants to chat.
I like your coat buttons. I collect buttons, red buttons, buttons from shirts, button mushrooms, buttons you press, belly buttons. There was button moon, butter. Sounds a bit like...
Clever Sarah. She's having a new Tic Tac tropical twist.
The Tic Tac tropical twist men have appeared and are carrying Sarah away. Oh, yes! They've even managed to button up the weirdo's mouth.
Try new Tic Tac tropical twist, full of refreshing little lifts.
Out of the saddle for 15 minutes now. I've been down through all 27 gears. I've nothing left. Thighs are on fire. It's all the fault of the decathlon sale.
With over 70 sports catered for at rock bottom prices, be careful. You could come in for a football shirt and leave a fully equipped cyclist. The Decathlon Sports Megastore Mega Sale, just off Junction 1 of the M60.
I hate the decathlon sale.
To get free broadband forever, just answer this simple question. Can you find your way to talktalk.co.uk? TalkTalk from the Carphone Warehouse will give you up to 8 meg broadband free forever with their Talk 3 international call package. So you'll never have to pay to use the internet again. Join up today at talktalk.co.uk. TalkTalk. Free forever. One-off connection fee, line rental, fair use, minimum contract terms and conditions apply, subject to availability.
Imagine a phone the size of a credit card with its own sleek leather wallet that keeps the phone charged. Imagine if it was free. The new Samsung P300 camera phone is free. Simply join a pay monthly tariff of £35 or more at any O2 store. You'll also get double your minutes for life.
See what you can do. O2.
While stocks last. On selected 18-month tariffs. Terms apply.
The James H. Reeve phone in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Right you are. Oh, it's starting to liven up now, isn't it? I'm just reading some of these things here. That's a good one. Oh. I don't know. We never found out how Whalley Range got its name, did we? We've got another inquiry about a part of Manchester. But for the moment, let's go to Bolton. And Jimmy's in Bolton. Jimmy, you're on Key 103.
Hi, James.
Can you believe it?
Well, it's 2 weeks on and on. It's unusual.
It's amazing.
I don't know what gags for you this week, but I've got the gags for the future. I listened to something about 20 years ago. W.C. Fields, William Claude Duckingfield, worked at Blackpool Circus for 3 years when he was reputed to be the finest juggler in the world. And I can get it back to about 1910 to 1920 before he went back to America to make films. And because he could do tricks in front of the camera, And because there was no trick photography then, of course he went into...
Oh, hey, hang on, there was trick photography, mate.
No, I don't think there was.
Well, it wasn't Star Wars, but they had ghosts and that sort of thing. They had, exposure and all that sort of... But let's not get bogged down in that, eh?
No, did he work for Blackpool Circus for 3 years?
W.C. Fields.
William Claude Duckingfield came from Cheshire. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that, you see.
Are you all right there? What happened there?
And something else I was reading the other week. I was reading about Thomas Henshaw, who committed suicide in 1810. And in one of his reservoirs that he built in Oldham, and the first submarine...
Oh.
No, this is very important, this.
I know.
Submarine underwater... Oh, you probably heard it before.
Well, I know, obviously. There's nothing else than an underwater submarine.
No, underwater breathing apparatus.
Yes.
The first registered company in the world was 16 Deansgate, Manchester.
I know. And the bloke who designed it was an Ulsterman who came to live in Manchester.
And 4 days up from 16, I can't remember.
In fact, I think he was a vicar, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. And the first, because he built the first submarine, I think it was called Resurgam.
Resurgam.
Well, Resurgam in Latin means I shall rise again.
Is correct, yeah.
Right, and the first the Workshops of the Blind was number 20 Deansgate that was 20 Deansgate. So there's certain doors apart. There was like the first submarine company in the world, an underwater breathing apparatus company.
Now listen, I'm going to tell you something now. I think did they build Resurgam and it
Oh yeah. It sunk because it was steam driven.
Yeah.
They've recovered it now.
It's submerged, but it never it didn't resurge, did it? So that was the end of that.
No, can I explain a little bit about it?
Well, you can if you want, yeah.
Well, it left Camel Heads to go. It was making its way somewhere. A little bit of weather, because you couldn't run the boilers. It was steam driven, you see, so it had to be open to the air.
Yeah.
And a little bit of bad weather, a little bit of the Irish Sea weather blew up, and of course she flooded and she sunk, and the lads got ashore. But they recovered it about 2 years ago. She's very badly rusted, but of course these lads, these restorists, they're going to try to make it like better again.
Got it. Right, okay.
It won't be the same vehicle.
Well, no, it won't. I think they built it to his original plans, but I'm sure he was he was a clergyman. I think he was from Northern Ireland, and he lived in Hume for a while, and I think it's there that he designed his submarine.
No, I heard echoes.
Oh, well, let's not fall out about that bit.
Oh, no, I'm not going to, but it was the first, it's very important to me, because I've studied submarines most of my life, and diving, and deep diving submarine operations,
In that case, Jimmy.
You asked me any question about any submarine.
Right, I was just about to. In that case, what was the name of the first submarine to sink a ship in what conflict?
It was in the American Civil War.
Ah, yeah.
And it was round, and its letter begin with R.
It was it was something like the Rowney or something like that, wasn't it?
And it sunk. It was steam driven, and it sunk on its. It did sink the first.
Yes. Calm down. We're all over it now.
I'm sorry. Are we over now?
You're getting a bit emotional about submarines, which is a bit suspicious to me. But anyway, never mind. Yeah, it did actually.
I'm because I don't see so well.
Sorry. Look, Jimmy, are you a bit emotional tonight? A bit hardly strung?
No.
No, okay. Simmer down.
Right.
That's calm. Deep breaths. Okay.
That's what the little girl said when she went to the... Oh,
no, don't do that one. It's donkeys years old.
Max Muller wrote it in 1936.
Oh, all right. Right, listen, okay. It was the summary. It was it was called something like the Whitney, wasn't it? Something like that.
I can say it. I said it can be called anything. You can say it.
It was called something like the. I don't know. But anyway, I think it was crewed by a bunch of mercenaries, including I think a couple of Englishmen. And it sank a ship. It sank a Union ship in the American Civil War. No. Sorry, I think it sank a Confederate ship. Anyway, but it
was a Confederate ship.
God's truth.
Sorry.
But it subsequently sank itself. You're quite right. But they did recover it. They recovered that as well a couple of years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah.
All right. So there we are. So thank you. Charles W.C. Fields.
Yeah,
right.
William Claude Duckingfield.
William Duckingfield. Was he in fact English? Was he from Duckingfield?
His mother and his father did come from England, and he left home when he was 11 to join a circus, and he was reputed to be the finest juggler in the world.
I know, you told me that. Listen.
Am I echoing myself?
You are repeating yourself quite a lot, which leads me to, based on many years of observation, Jimmy, this leads me to suspect that drink has been taken. Am I correct?
I hope I'm not labouring under the misconception that I've always been teetotal. I only drink buttermilk now.
I see.
90 proof buttermilk. That's all I drink now.
I know where you've got that line from.
Who did I steal that?
Right, never mind.
Well, you tell me you ask funny.
Madam, I never touched a drink for 15 years. But on my 16th birthday... Thank you. Right, get off. That was Jimmy and Bob. I don't know what's up with him, right? I don't know whether I think someone's been tweaking his the pipe on his medication there. But that was Jimmy. Was he? I'm not sure. Was that a question or an answer or what? It was hard to make out, wasn't it? Really? They were all mixed in there. Right. 0161 288 0103. I'll just put to you one or two of the questions which have arrived by text, irrespective of how much it costs. I'm past caring now, thank you. Rick in Sale said, last week I texted you, how does the district of Blakely, how does that get its name? I don't know. And something that we've asked a couple of times is, how did Whalley Range get its name? And answer, came there none. So how did Blakely get its name? What was the question he asked about W.C. Fields? I can't remember what it was now. Anyway, how does Blakely get its name, and why is it pronounced differently from the way it's spelt? It gets anyone who comes to work in Manchester, that's the one clanger that they drop straight away, right? But why is it spelt Blackley, pronounced Blakely? Where does it come from? And Whalley Range. Who was Mr. Whalley? Presumably. What else is, where does the phrase straight from the horse's mouth come from? That's from Cat in Oldham. That's, I assume that's a reference to getting a racing tip, and it's come from the horse's mouth. It's come direct from the stables, from the horse that already knows what's going on, right? And, where does the word love in tennis come from, says Steve in Manchester. Popular theory, I'm not absolutely convinced of it. Popular theory is that it's from the French l'œuf, meaning the egg, which is because it looks like a zero. That's the story that's going around. I'm not fully convinced of it, but it's the only one that I've ever heard. 0161 288 0103. We're over to the Jackie desk in a moment. Who's going to bring us up to date with the email enquiries? 0161 288 0103, though, is your favourite method of communication. 0161 288 0103. Join James H. Reeve on Key 103 for queries and theories. I know it's rubbish, but over Over the summer recess, we'll think of a better name for it. But in the meantime, I simply haven't got the time.
Key 103's £25,000 triple play from the station that plays out the songs and pays out the cash. We've already given away a stack of cash.
Yes! Get him!
25, Susan!
Oh, thank you very much!
For the 25.
Oh my God, I'm shaking! Oh, thank you!
We've given away £14,000 so far, and we're still waiting for the 3 songs that will win someone £25,000.
They're coming sometime soon. Keep listening. The £25,000 triple play from Manchester's Key 103.
Egypt is fantastic.
It's a country where everything's beautiful.
The people are so cool.
When you're here, there's a kind of magic. It's great to be here.
Egyptians treat you so well. Unforgettable beaches.
Egypt is like a dream.
Will I come back? Of course.
Nothing compares to Egypt.
If you left your heart in Egypt too, make sure to say so at the Love Egypt Club at www.egypt.travel.
Can I have 37 cornets, 26 orange sunshine, 63 raspberry surprises, 54 choco rockets, 72 99s, and a screwball for the MD?
If the heat's on where you work, call HSS Hire. Air conditioning units, cooling fans, for the office, factory or shop, we've what you need right now. Visit hss.com or call 08457 28 28 28. HSS Hire. Seriously cool.
To get free broadband forever, just answer this simple question. Can you find your way to talktalk.co.uk? TalkTalk from the Carphone Warehouse will give you up to 8 meg broadband free forever with their Talk 3 international call package. So you'll never have to pay to use the internet again. Join up today at talktalk.co.uk. TalkTalk. Free forever. One-off connection fee, line rental, fair use, minimum contract, terms and conditions apply, subject to availability.
I've been seduced before, oh yes. By estate agents who promise a des rares but show you a shoebox. By aftershave that guarantees women will fall at your feet. In fact, they just pass out from the fumes. By easy-to-assemble flat-pack furniture. By a washing powder that would keep my pants whiter than white, yet they're still beiger than beige. And by the tantalising aroma of many a kebab shop.
Some things aren't what they're cracked up to be. When surveyed, the majority of people who left BT didn't make the savings they thought they would. Turns out the grass isn't greener after all. BT, bringing it all together. Claim based on an independent survey of 156 customers who'd left BT. Survey conducted between January and March 06.
I'm Eileen and I'm quitting with nicotine. I was quite dubious about giving up cigarettes because when I gave up before, I did put on a bit of weight. But now I'm 6 weeks into it and I really find with the nicotine lozenges that not only are they helping to take away my cravings for the cigarettes, which is great, but also I find that I don't have to be eating and nibbling all the time, so far so good.
Eileen quit smoking last year using nicotine CQ 4mg lozenges, which helped Eileen control her cravings and her weight while she quit. Requires willpower, contains nicotine, always read the label.
The James H. Reeve phone-in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Yay! It's 11:15, and at the email desk, it's Jackie.
This one from Cookie in Failsworth and says, Hi James.
Hang on.
Why'd you have to cough all over my moment there?
Oh, dear.
Here I am, I've come in for the first time and you cough all over me.
Couldn't get any purchase on that. Oh, sorry.
You finished?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Can I ask if anyone remembers the old 60s American kids show called The Banana Splits?
Of course, everybody remembers that. It was fantastic.
I've no idea what he's talking about.
It was brilliant.
There were 4 splits, but does anyone remember what they were called?
Oh, no.
Oh, are you stumped there?
Well, everybody...
everyone knows what the splits were.
Everybody remembers the banana splits. They were fantastic.
But the names?
The Talking Moosey's Head. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4...
That's where it comes from.
La 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 la. Yeah. Anyway, go on.
John in Salford says, Hi James, does anyone recall Martin Shaw of The Professionals playing Scott of the Antarctic? I think it was TV rather than a film. Do you remember that one?
Scott of the Antarctic?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Somebody will.
Yeah.
I know there was one with Kenneth Branagh as Ernest Shackleton.
Right.
That was a big TV drama about how they survived for donkeys, ages and ages and ages in in an open boat and what have you. But yeah. But no, don't remember Martin Shaw being Captain Scott, but I do have the information about Sean Connery playing Roald Amundsen, and it's a true story.
Are you going to tell it now?
No.
Oh. Norma in Simply says, is there a sleeping drought stronger than listening to you?
Is there a what?
A sleeping drought.
Can you pass that to me, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Right. I'll just, we'll play that at the Christmas do. Okay.
What? Go on.
Well, quite apart from the fact that that's, well done, Norma Stitz, that's from.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not. It's actually from Joseph Bradshaw.
Oh, they put the right...
Yeah, that's his real name, Joseph Bradshaw, who uses quite a popular internet service provider.
To email
Oh,
in.
it's hot in here, isn't it? But
yeah.
that's because I'm male.
Yeah, perhaps.
I'm hot because I'm male.
Yeah.
.co.uk. Joseph Bradshaw, yeah. Well, first of all, Joseph thinks he's the first person in the world who's thought of that. So that shows you what a numbnut he is. And also, I think it's traditionally referred to as a sleeping draft. A drought's what we're having now.
Right. Is it
I tell you, it's the wettest drought I've ever been in, isn't it you? There was a
Drought.
Yeah, there was a
Right.
Actually, funnily enough, there is, I know. It's like working with Audrey Bradshaw, isn't it? There was a misprint. I should have sent this off somewhere, and I've got a tenner for it.
I do this all the time.
The obverse of that humiliating schoolgirl error you've just made is it was in a TV guide, and it was a wildlife film about the Serengeti or something like that.
Right.
And it's a fascinating documentary about how the wildlife in Africa's biggest national park copes with a 7-year draft.
What's a sleeping draft, though? I still don't know what that is.
It's a potion. It's a...
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, going back to the drought story, it should have been how they cope with a 7-year drought.
Yes.
Yeah, not a draft. Then
No.
they just pull the door to, wouldn't they? Or
Well, yeah, you think so.
got a sausage and put it under the bottom.
So I'm not the only one.
Move on, because this is... neither of our careers may ever recover from this.
Simon in Bolton says, I know you must have told us Hillman's before and thought it was self-explanatory, but what does pack drill mean from your well-used phrase, no name, no pack drill? Also, do you know why fat people don't get fat on the top of their head?
I think, well, in the second one I think normally there's enough to laugh at them just being fat everywhere else. Being fat on the top of your head would just be a waste.
Yeah, it's true.
No names, no pack drill. It's clearly a military expression. Why the two are used together, I don't know. It must arise in certain circumstances, because a pack drill is marching up and down with your full pack on.
Right.
Why the expression should have arisen, no names, no pack drill. Maybe it means... Is it a I don't know. I've got a feeling it might be something to do with the...
You don't know, do you?
I'm getting there. This is like a university challenge one, this. You can sort of work it out.
Shall I read these while you think?
There's a difference between stand at ease and stand easy. No names, no pack drill. Someone with someone who's got a military bearing might know this one. Right, no names, no pack drill. Why is the expression always used in that form? Thank you.
James, no one needs Google when you're on air because you have Google there. Says someone on the email.
Some pillock. But, let me see.
Have they put their email address on it?
Oh, yeah, it's from Dean Dempster.
Oh.
He's, you see, I'm male, but there are only 2 of us, not 3.
Ah, yes.
I'm male.
Yeah.
But you and I is just 2 people, not 3
not
people.
3, no.
3 people, one of them male, Dean Dempster. Yeah, that's right. But I'll tell you what, we have got...
And do you prefer .co.uk or .com?
I always think .com's more of a sort of an international thing, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Anyway, see, the thing is, though, Dean, is that I don't use Google because I already know it. I can also spell, which you can't. because there isn't spelt like that. But, feel free to demonstrate your intellectual superiority in a form like that whenever you want. Oh, a recent innovation has been the capital letter as well, you might find.
Darren in Salford...
You make me sick! Sorry, go on.
Thank you. Darren in Salford says, "Hi James, I asked the question about the submarine on Salford Keys. I've just heard you say it was in 1967. I can confirm that there must have been a different sub on a later date, as I wasn't born until 1970 and I definitely went on board one in the late 70s or early 80s. And he's had an extra question at the end, which says, can you shed any light on the way the place Land of Nod in North York gets its name? I've seen it in passing and it has always interested me to know."
I don't know why it's called that. The Land of Nod was, it's a biblical thing, isn't it? Isn't that where Cain goes to when he's expelled from the Garden of Eden? I think that's where the Land of Nod was, but why there's a place named after it in Yorkshire, I don't know. I don't rightly know. However, yeah, I have got some info about the submarine in Salford Docks. Confirmed, I think last week we sort of managed to thrash out that there was at least one visit by a submarine. The one in 1967 was definitely HMS Grampus. And I can tell you what happened to it as well if you want. See what I mean? At least I could if I could find the piece of paper. Oh, well, perhaps that delight lies in store for us. But it does put me in mind of an inquiry we've had from Harry in Gorton. Harry in Gorton, who sent me this message. And I love doing things like that. He said, why is it... Oh, I found the thing about Grampus. In fact, I'll do that now. There have been 10 vessels called Grampus. One was launched in 1936. It was a submarine. Prior to that, they'd all been ships of the line, She served off China before moving to the Mediterranean Sea. She was sunk by Italian torpedo boats in 1940. The 10th Grampus was launched in 1957, so that would be the one. It was a Porpoise-class submarine, and she was sunk for target practice in 1980, which is a bit of an ignominious end, isn't it? So there you are. But it seems there was another one. I sort of remember that. Yeah, it was a modern submarine that came since HMS Grampus. Anyway, Harry in Gorton sent us this. He says, here's one you might do. Why were German submarines called U-boats? I mean, why U? Why not A or B? Can you enlighten us? Well, I can enlighten you. Totally, Harry, even more than you wanted to be. U-boat is short for Untersee boat, meaning undersea boat. It's the German, and they call it an U-boat for short. Okay? That's dead easy. There's also something else, though. They had motor torpedo boats, which the British called E-boats. So a U-boat was a submarine, an E-boat was a motor torpedo boat. And the E-boat was a British term. Enemy boat. The Germans didn't call them E-boats. The Germans called them S-boats, which stands for Schnellboot, simply meaning a fast boat. So the Germans called them S-boats, we called them E-boats, and some people have suggested that the E stood for Eilboot, and Eilen is German for to rush, to hurry, but they didn't. They do have a thing called an Eilboat now, but they're sort of, I don't know, pleasure boats on the Rhine and what have you. So U-boat is Untersee boat, meaning submarine. E-boat means an enemy boat. We call them E-boats. The Germans call them S-boats, which stands for Schnellboot, fast boat. There you are. Comprehensive or what? Smashing. Banana split, says Dave in Withington, were called Flegel, Bingo, Drooper and Snork. Did they really? And they say proficiency at billiards is a sign of a misspent youth. They lived in a fire station. Yes, they do, actually. Stu said, yeah, they were called Flegel, Bingo, Drooper and Snorky. But let's not fall out about that. Thank you. White Wizard in Rochdale, Yeah, it may very well have cost you 10p. I read the rules and regulations out before. If you missed it, then it's entirely your fault. So, was it worth it? I don't know. I wouldn't have thought so. Although I did work out how much it cost us for Jonathan Ross to interview David Cameron for 40 minutes. I worked it out, and I think it worked out at 650 quid. And we got 10 minutes out of it. Anyway, there we are. Not to worry. Right. Is it time for a breather? Yes, it is. Then we'll have another Hillman. Bear with us. I'm also going to answer a topical question shortly. Thank you. James H. Reeve on Key 103, going through till 1. Questions, answers, anything you like. Habits, customs, sayings, buildings, geography, this, that and the other. Not riddles, not gags. Questions that people have always wondered about. Especially you. 0161 288 0103.
So, will you pick sexy Salzburg, birthplace of Mozart and setting for the sound of music? Or would you rather Bratislava? She's a 24-hour city, but will you keep up? Or will you have a crack at Krakow? Beautiful by day, but what a sight by night. The choice is yours.
With Sky Europe Airlines, the choice is even easier. Just £25 each way, including taxes, can get you a date with these European cities, thanks to Central Europe's largest low-cost airline. Just visit skyeurope.com. Skyeurope.com. More Europe to discover. Terms and conditions apply.
Bye, Mum. Sophie? Yeah? I thought your school uniform included a skirt. I'm wearing one. Oh, so you are. Sorry, I mistook it for a belt. Go and change, young lady. What? Mum? Oh...
BA Connect's considerate flight times let Rachel Johnson connect with her daughter Sophie at breakfast time. Sometimes Sophie wishes they didn't. Flights from Manchester start from as little as £25 one way. Book for summer at ba.com. Conditions apply.
You know running's good. And raising money, well, that feels great. But running and raising money? Now that's amazing. Running 10 kilometres for Cancer Research UK is a fantastic way to fundraise for the UK's leading cancer charity. Whether you're running because somebody close to you has been touched by cancer, or you just want to run and raise money at a spectacular venue, entry couldn't be simpler. To join us at Tatton Park on the 24th of September, visit cancerresearchuk10.co.uk. The Cancer Research UK 10K. Together, we will beat cancer.
Egypt is fantastic.
It's a country where everything's beautiful.
The people are so cool.
When you're here, there's a kind of magic. It's great to be here.
Egyptians treat you so well. Unforgettable beaches.
Egypt is like a dream.
Will I come back? Of course.
Nothing compares to Egypt.
If you left your heart in Egypt too, make sure to say so at the Love Egypt Club at www.egypt.travel.
Mobley, my little mobile phone, likes to travel in style. Get me a limo. Suddenly my trouser pocket's not good enough for him. It's full of fluff and half-sucked sweets. Fair enough, but I still don't understand why he needs two beautiful assistants to make sure he puts his seatbelt on. Get treated like a star at the Carphone Warehouse.
The James H. Reeve phone in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Right, this is becoming entertainingly complicated, because the questions are getting all mixed up with the answers, but we thrive on that kind of pressure. Albert's in Moston. Albert, you're on Key 103, son.
Good evening, young man. How are you?
Good evening, officer on deck.
Hi, excellent. Resurgam.
Yes?
I understand it sank on its maiden voyage just off the coast at Brill.
I remember it rings a bell, yeah.
I remember it being discovered about 8 years ago.
Aye.
And there were moods afoot to try and bring it back up to the surface. There was a collection going on, but I don't know what happened as regards to that. Perhaps one of your listeners would know whether they did recover it or what.
Why, perhaps one of them may. Am I getting... do you know, I might be getting mixed up between... There was a show on the telly where they used to try and build peculiar machines. And they used to build, like, siege catapults and all this sort of thing.
I've been watching it recently. Yeah. It's been replayed.
And there was one where they tried to build a replica of an early wooden submarine. And I think I might be getting mixed up with that. But anyway, yeah. But the American one, the name of which, it's on the tip of my tongue, but it sank after sinking an enemy ship in the American Civil War, and it wasn't called the Whitney, it was something like that. But it was Watney or Whitney or something like that? Or, God, hell, fire. But anyway, that was a very similar thing. That was, but that actually did, carry I think it carried an explosive charge and all this sort of thing.
Gosh.
But that was during the American Civil War, yes.
James, can I ask you a quick favour?
But of course.
I've had several strokes and I've got a 50% brain damage.
Right.
Right, I had a bad one a fortnight ago. I need to contact Chris. He'll be listening and he'll know who he is. Can I just ask him to contact me?
Right.
He knows where.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Oh, thanks very much.
Well, I tell you
Love
what.
the show.
Albert, don't worry about it. You've probably got more brain cells left than quite a lot of people listening now.
Well, I can speak 6 languages. I can manage that, but
that's all
I forget where I live and stuff, things like that.
Right. Well, it doesn't matter because if you forget where you live,
I've got it written down.
Yeah, and the time.
Yeah.
If you forget where you live, that if you speak 6 languages, you can always ask somebody.
Well, all the people around here speak different languages, though.
It swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Of course.
I'll tell you what, somebody said to me, you know that old saying, what you lose on the swings, you gain on the
roundabouts.
Yeah, that's not true, that.
No, once you've lost it, mate.
Oh, because I lost a tooth on the swings. Oh, well, leave them laughing, that's my motto. Chris, ring Albert, right, because of this, that and the other, thank you. Right, that's taking the wind out of our sails. Nonetheless, let's go to Stockport. Debbie is in Stockport, and presumably, Debbie, you have an unquenchable thirst for knowledge.
No, not really. Oh, I'm sorry. No, just coming to bed and I switched the radio on and I heard you something about submarines and Salford docks.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Well, I think it would be 22 years ago, so that'd be in the 80s, because it was my sister's hen night, and we was at the Ritz in Manchester.
And you finished up on a submarine?
We did. We finished up on the HMS Orpheus in Salford docks. Honestly.
Was this in the company of some seafaring gentleman?
Yes.
Oh, no!
Of some seamen, yes.
Oh, leave it. Hey, now there was no need for that remark.
Yeah.
I know what you're getting at.
Well, these guys come up and said, like, we were dancing, and they said, do you want to come on our submarine? And we laughed and said, well, yeah, but do you want to come on my dad's yacht,
Yeah.
And I noticed this writing on one of them, on the jumper, on his sweater, and it had HMS Orpheus on, and it was straight up.
Was it?
And the next...
yeah.
And the next night we was invited onto the sub to the captain's cocktail party, which was a nightmare.
Right.
It was so claustrophobic, it was unbelievable. And there was no cocktails, it was just rum and more rum. And these poor little young sailors chasing about doing all the cooking and the food,
Right.
It was quite scary, but these chief petty officers were actually staying, what do they call it, offshore?
Ashore.
Ashore, yeah.
Ashore.
The Racecourse Hotel in Curzon.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Well, when we've talked about Manchester Racecourse in the past, and there's a picture on some website of history of Salford of the Racecourse Hotel.
Yeah.
It looked like the house in Psycho, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it did. It was. It was very scary.
So, well, there's a thing. And how did it go on the submarine then?
It was fine.
Was it?
Going to the toilet was a bit of a experience,
Yeah, well, perhaps not now.
No, there's no flusher. There was no flush. You had like this pistol thing that fired water. That's how you got rid of whatever went down the pan.
Oh, dear me.
Yeah, it wasn't a place for ladies.
No, well, I won't ask you. Anyway, and did the captain, did he blow his tanks for you?
I don't remember seeing the captain. It was too full of rum.
Okay. Well, that's got to be one of the most peculiar stories I've ever heard, honestly.
Yeah, I know, and when I tell people, they say, get lost, you're lying, but no, it's true. The HMS Orpheus, and apparently, well, at the time, they told us it was the last thing to come up in Salford docks.
Right, until that night.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got to stop this cheap innuendo, haven't we? Oh, that reminds me, we've got a thing about Kenneth Williams later. I'm glad you reminded me about that.
Yeah, so I just started ringing and say that it's better than texting you.
It certainly is, and cheaper.
Yeah, so I've discovered.
and you see, if you like this bloke, it's more difficult on the phone to come out with a stream of effing and blinding. But then foolishly realise that if you text us, your phone number comes up here.
Oh, yeah.
So that's unfortunate for this bloke, isn't it?
Well, what a stupid boy he is.
Perhaps later. Yeah. Anyway, you're right, brilliant. So HMS Orpheus it is then.
Orpheus in the 80s, about 22 years ago, I would say, depending on when my sister got married.
Excellent.
Okay.
And thanks for giving us the opportunity to get a few gags in there as well.
Okay, then.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye now. There we are. Oh, dear. Now, it was not my intention to develop a nautical theme this evening, but as it happens, there is something coming up later, and it's to do with the expression sling your hook, about which we've had many, many enquiries. So, listen, I'm getting a bit of a backlog here of, enquiries, and I've got these answers that I've come up with since last we spoke on these topics last Monday. So I'll do some of these in a minute for you. In the meantime, whenever you like, 0161 288 0103, we are getting to the bottom of a number of things, and in a minute I'll tell you we've got the answer, actually, to how the name Wally Range came about, and it's not the only one. Not the only one. Okay. There's another. The man responsible is responsible for naming another part of Greater Manchester. I never knew that. So we'll do that. We'll do loads more. We'll go to Old Trafford as well in a second. Bear with us. Key 103 at 11:10.
This week, Key 103 and Shell want you to discover the ultimate drive. On Key 103's Drive Home every day from 4, we'll be giving you the chance to drive down America's legendary Route 66. Through LA, Vegas, San Francisco, and the Grand Canyon. We've also got a bush that has to be won. For more chances to win, get to your nearest Shell forecourt. Get behind the wheel, turn on Key 103, and get yourself the ultimate driving experience on Route 66. All this week on Drive with Shell, fueling great movement.
When TalkTalk first offered unlimited phone calls to everybody else on TalkTalk, the moaning minis thought it would never work. Over 2 million happy customers later, TalkTalk are at it again. But now, everyone with the new Talk 3 International Call Package gets a superfast broadband connection, free forever. Free broadband forever. From the idiots who bought you unlimited phone calls forever. TalkTalk. Free forever. One-off connection fee, line rental, fair use, minimum contract terms and conditions apply, subject to availability.
Egypt is fantastic.
It's a country where everything's beautiful.
The people are so cool.
When you're here, there's a kind of magic. It's great to be here.
Egyptians treat you so well. Unforgettable beaches.
Egypt is like a dream.
Will I come back? Of course.
Nothing compares to Egypt.
If you left your heart in Egypt too, make sure to say so at the Love Egypt Club at www.egypt.travel.
Oh, blimey, that fella who's, he's only got one thing to do all day and he's not done it. So that's why he caught us, just a tad unawares. There's some very, very interesting responses coming in. And, I don't know what order to do them in. So I'll talk to Gurney in Old Trafford instead. That usually gets you out of a tight corner. Gurney in Old Trafford, you're on Key 103.
Thank you for joining me, James.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for welcoming us into your home.
Oh, thank you, James.
Right, that's enough of that.
Now then.
What?
You know the ship, the submarine, the American submarine, was it the USS Monitor?
No. The Monitor...
Was that the one it sunk?
That was... No, listen, calm down.
Sorry.
The Monitor was an ironclad. It was a Union ironclad.
Well,
and it was... Now listen. And it had a turret. It had a revolving turret, and it was... it fought the Confederate ironclad Merrimack. Which was, not strictly speaking, it was a sailing ship with iron fastened on it, really. but the Monitor was really a proper ironclad, and I think that sank. But listen, I've had a couple of responses here.
Didn't the Monitor and the submarine have a go at one another fought to a standstill, more or less?
No, that's the Monitor and the Merrimack you're thinking of. I think it was in the Mississippi estuary or something like that.
Oh.
Seriously. But Paul...
I thought there was
Will you listen?
I thought there was a submarine involved in one of those early fights that were...
I'm going to tell you. Listen. Paul in Oldham says the American Civil War sub that you asked about was the Confederate state ship Hunley.
Right.
And it sank the United States ship Housatonic in Charleston Harbour in 1864. It was named after a Mr. Hunley who designed and built it, and he drowned when the vessel sank.
Right.
Thank you. Somebody else sent us a text message saying it was called Hanley or something, but that's right. It was called Hunley, and I'm sure that subsequent investigations proved that the crew was made up of all sorts of nationalities. I'm sure there were a couple of English blokes on it and a German or a Swede or something like that.
There was a programme on not long ago that they found the bones of one of the survivors of that submarine, and he traced his DNA back to somewhere in the Midlands.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. That's how I seem to remember that the submarine was sunk.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that was the CSS Hunley.
I'm a bit foggy on that one, so I'll
It's
stand
quite
back.
all right. But the
Sling your hook.
Sling your... Go on.
Sling means to hang, right?
Possibly.
Well, my version is to sling your hammock.
Yeah.
And then you like a hook on one end and a rope on the other. It was to leave a ship.
Yeah.
Well, you get your kit together and you do one.
Right. And I've read one explanation which says that they used to inspect it with like a hoop, and your hammock had to be rolled tightly enough to fit within the diameter of this hook.
Yeah, well, packaging storage on a ship of a warship particularly is quite important.
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you something now. Listen to me. There's lots of explanations. In America, they say give somebody the hook, but they reckon...
That's to drag them off the stage, isn't it?
That's right. They reckon that's a vaudeville expression. Mm-hmm. And I'm reading all this, but its use in English goes back long before that. Yeah. And the expression, it might mean... It could be anything to do with woodmen or harvesters or tradesmen. Mm-hmm. It might mean a billhook, a sickle or scythe. Another one, something to do with fishermen, and so on and so forth. The Oxford English Dictionary contains evidence of sling your hook from as early as 1874.
A lot of these are nautical terms that have come ashore and joined in the English language.
Right. Well, I'll come to my amazing discovery at the weekend in a moment.
I want to have a go at the...
Well, hang on.
No names, no facts.
What's the matter? What's the matter with people?
Will you stop interrupting me?
Will you just wait while I finish explaining this? What's the matter with you?
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
The Oxford English Dictionary contains evidence from as early as 1874, although it quotes another phrase, sling your Daniel.
Daniel?
Daniel. Don't know what it means. Anyway, there's another theory based that it's a mining expression. A hook is where the miner would hang his day clothes before he got changed to go down the pit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so on and so forth. Now, which of these is true? I don't know. In fact, this account I've got here said this looks about as difficult to explain as the expression the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And there are loads of explanations for that, and nobody seems to be sure which is the real one.
Well, there's a military explanation for that.
Well, there's loads, but nobody can confirm them. No. Anyway, listen, despite your constant attempts to put me off, I'm going to tell you this story, right? At the weekend...
Whose show is this?
Well, it's certainly not yours, is it? Whose name on the jingles is it? Eh?
Oh, yeah.
Right, thank you.
Sorry,
just remember that. Now, I'm reading this book about Gallipoli. because I lead a full life.
Yeah.
Right? And amazing. I wasn't even... I vaguely remembered last week or the week before somebody sent in an inquiry saying, where does this expression come from? But I'd put it out of my mind. So, I'm reading this book. Now, listen to this.
Listening.
This is Gallipoli, 1915.
Yeah.
And in all the carnage, where it all goes horribly wrong, a naval captain says to his first officer, I am going to go and take command of the boats that were all being shot to bits by the Turks and all the rest of it. He says, I'm going to try and instill some sort of order here because this is turning into a right bloodbath. He said, you stay here. And his subordinate says, no, I want to come with you. And he says, no, you stay here. That's an order. And it said in the book, the first officer was prepared to chuck his hook and go with his captain.
Oh, well,
right, now,
wait a minute.
Right, are you ready? Now,
well, the hook in the Navy is the anchor.
The anchor.
And that is some form of... For certain sailors, it's a badge of service, isn't it?
Right. It's also a badge of rank.
Right.
And I'm just sitting there reading this, waiting for, I don't know, Argentina, Mexico or something to come on. And I'm reading that, and I thought, God blimey. And it said, the first officer was prepared to chuck his hook, and then in brackets it said, relinquish his rank.
Resign his commission.
Yeah. So if you're an officer, you've got the anchor on your badge.
Yeah.
If you throw your badge away and relinquish your rank, you're chucking your hook. Right. And I wonder.
Sling your hook.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever seen that expression in my entire life.
Right.
In all 38 years, I've never seen that before. So
it's to abandon everything to do the right thing.
It may be, or it may simply mean to...
just abandon something.
The original meaning, to relinquish your commission, to relinquish your rank, and then it's come to mean just to clear off.
Right.
Now,
by corruption, you mean?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's right or not, I don't know, but that was absolutely... the first time I've ever seen that, and when I saw it, I thought, I wonder, is that it? Is that where it comes from?
Well, it's as good as anything I've ever heard.
It's not. It does make sense, that, though, doesn't it?
Because, actually, the explanation I've got, and what I offered, was to sling your hook. It makes more sense. You're actually joining the ship rather than leaving the ship.
I suppose it does, really, yeah, when you think about it.
It's as if it's some kind of order from the chief, like, sling your hook, that's where you're staying, you know.
Right.
Anyway...
Well, that was lovely, wasn't it?
The reason I got on was no names, no pack drill.
Not started yet?
No names, no pack drill.
Right, go on, yeah.
Well, pack drill is a form of punishment in the army.
Right.
You know, if you get on a fizzer or something, and you get...
yeah, it's punishment, isn't it? For...
Yeah, well, you know, you can be walking on your rifle in the air, or your kit bag full of bricks, or...
Yeah.
If nobody gives any name when there's some minor or major demeanour been...
of course.
Misdemeanour been... It's... if nobody says nothing, nobody gets punished. I think that's it. I mean, I've got no military experience directly, but I've listened to the old soldiers, you know. It's more likely to come from the servicemen that didn't do the war. You know, the conscripts after the war.
National service, yeah.
The national service chaps, where punishment was more likely, if you follow...
Yeah.
Because if you're actually battling, there's not much time to do pack drill, I don't suppose, if they're finding bullets off your helmet.
Yeah, well, couldn't be doing with that.
No.
Well, no.
I think that's it anyway. I think it's to do with punishment and the keeping quiet about it and, you know, hold on to your breath and nobody gets in trouble.
That makes eminent sense, actually. And
well, thanks for saying that. I'm agreeing with yours as well.
I take back everything I've ever said about you.
What have you been saying, James?
Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
You've been talking to Jackie about it?
No. Anyway, it could also mean you can do what you like. There'll be no names taken.
Yeah.
And no pack drill administered. Yeah. That do you know? Now we've broken fresh ground there, Gurney.
Okay, mate.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That. Much obliged to you.
Here's my jingle for you.
Oh, have you got one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's answer the questions or question our answers. This is a Gurney Slade show. This is a Gurney Slade production.
That was absolute rubbish. But, hey, let's stay with the rubbish theme, because we're going to Doncaster now. Hey, actually, Gurney, well done, son. 0161 288 0103. That'll put you on Key 103 for, it's been a bit lively, hasn't it? And more to come with James H. Reeve on a Monday night, queries and theories, whatever you like. Oh dear, something I don't like is this person from Doncaster, but he's a hillman, so what can you do? Hello!
What do you mean stay with the rubbish?
How can we help you, valued listener to Key 103?
Listen.
What?
I'm relying on you for once in my life.
For once in your life?
Yeah.
I've paid for several foreign holidays for you, haven't I? So you're stealing me gags?
Yeah, there is that, yeah. No, listen, this is a serious question, this. You'll probably know that peanuts are supposed to be a member of the pea family.
Apparently so, yeah.
Right, well, if that's true, why is it then that people that have got serious nut allergies can't eat peanuts? Because they eat peas, don't they?
I don't know whether they do or not.
Oh, they do, yeah, they definitely eat peas.
I'm not saying that you've taken a representative sample, but...
No.
Yeah, I do, although the point you're making is expressed appallingly badly, I do understand...
What do you mean?
Yeah, well, why should you be allergic to a peanut if it isn't a nut?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. Well, that's a much better way of putting it. Now, where did I read all this? Quite a number of things that we call nuts aren't in fact nuts at all.
Yeah, but peanuts are nuts, aren't they?
Oh, I thought they were peas.
No, what I'm saying is, peanuts are supposed to be part of the pea family.
Yes.
Not nuts. But clearly they are nuts because...
Yeah, well, we can say that about a lot of things, can't we?
Yeah, well, you probably think I'm nuts.
Clearly.
But what do you mean?
Just get on with it.
Listen, they must be nuts because if you've got a serious nut allergy...
Yes, I've got the picture.
People with nut allergies, they can't even eat peanut butter.
Well, no, because because it's not butter, is it? It's mashed up peanuts.
Yes, so clearly peanuts are nuts. Otherwise, you'd be able to eat them like you can eat peas.
What, off your knife?
But what's the answer?
Oh, God knows.
Well, this is the show.
Oh, right, well, we'll find out then.
Oh, thank you.
Right, thank you. We'll get the ups and... We'll get all the ins and outs of nut allergy. Have you ever... What did I buy? Something that... It was called Nutty Nutsville Bar or something like that. It had the word nuts about 500 times on the wrapper. And then it had a little thing at the bottom that said, contains nuts. What's the matter with people? It's preposterous. So why... Right, essentially, is a peanut a nut, or is it a pea? And if it's a pea, why can't people with a nut allergy eat them?
You've got it.
Right. Oh, good. Yeah, thanks very much indeed. Thanks for helping me with that one.
Yeah, you've grasped the situation.
I have fully, with both hands. Right, I'd love to stay and talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, there we are, Gary, as usual. Just causing mayhem. But he means well. No, I don't even think he means well. Anyway, I'll write that down. Nut allergy. Peanuts. Right. Isn't it awful with him? 0161 288 0103. Look, I think at this stage of the proceedings... 26 minutes past 11. I think what we need to do is stop and I'll just share with you some stuff because I've got some earlier questions to which I have secured the answer And, while we've been speaking, a couple of very interesting answers to points that have been raised before have emerged. So I think we'll just have a little sit back, and then I'll do some things for you. Okay. In the meantime, though, don't worry. If there's something you want to ask, 0161 288 0103. I'll give you something as well to. You may wish to respond to some of the things I'm going to point out to you in a couple of moments' time. Thanks very much indeed. You just stick with us. You'll see. It explains itself, really. Right. Stand by.
Key 103's £25,000 triple play from the station that plays out the songs and pays out the cash. We've already given away a stack of cash.
Yes! Get him!
25, Susan!
Oh, thank you very much!
Caller 25.
Oh my God, I'm shaking! Thank you!
We've given away £14,000 so far, and we're still waiting for the 3 songs that will win someone £25,000.
They're coming sometime soon. Keep listening. The £25,000 triple play from Manchester's Key 103.
Egypt is fantastic.
It's a country where everything's beautiful.
The people are so cool.
When you're here, there's a kind of magic. It's great to be here.
Egyptians treat you so well. Unforgettable beaches.
Egypt is like a dream.
Will I come back? Of course.
Nothing compares to Egypt.
If you left your heart in Egypt too, make sure to say so at the Love Egypt Club at www.egypt.travel.
Being a landlord is an uncertain business. Finding tenants, second-guessing mortgage rates, sourcing reliable tradesmen. But now the law has changed. You can be certain of one thing. By the 3rd of July, if you rent out a house or a flat, you may need a property licence, or you could receive a fine of up to £20,000. To find out if you need a licence, visit propertylicence.gov.uk or contact your local authority. The Property Licence. Make it your property.
You know running's good, and raising money, well, that feels great. But running and raising money? Now that's amazing. Running 10 kilometres for Cancer Research UK is a fantastic way to fundraise for the UK's leading cancer charity. Whether you're running because somebody close to you has been touched by cancer, or you just want to run and raise money at a spectacular venue, entry couldn't be simpler. To join us at Tatton Park on the 24th of September, visit cancerresearchuk10.co.uk. The Cancer Research UK 10K. Together, we will beat cancer.
To get free broadband forever, just answer this simple question. Can you find your way to the Carphone warehouse? See TalkTalk, their home phone company, will give you up to 8 meg broadband free forever with their new Talk 3 international call package. So you'll never have to pay to use the internet again. Sign up today at the Carphone warehouse. TalkTalk, free forever. One-off connection fee, line rental, fair use, minimum contract, terms and conditions apply, subject to availability.
Maybe love, maybe fun.
Maybe nights out. Maybe nights in.
Maybe romance, maybe friendship.
Maybe something serious. Maybe just for laughs.
Maybe-friends.co.uk.
Safe, secure and discerning. A new dating database has arrived in the Northwest.
Maybe-friends.co.uk. Sign up now and registration is free.
Maybe it's exactly what you've been looking for.
July the 6th will be a very special day. It will be the day when thousands of proud people finally pull on their brand new Manchester City home kit. Get your brand new home kit at the Manchester City store. Remember that all smart card holders get 20% off everything in store, including shirt printing. And you're not going to find a better price than that. For more information and to get your City card, visit mcfc.co.uk. The brand new Manchester City home kit launches July the 6th at the Manchester City store. This is our city. Let's paint it blue.
The James H. Reeve phone in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Okay, it's over to the Jackie desk, and can I just clear one thing up?
Yeah.
This foul-mouthed git whose telephone number is there
in front of us
now. We've not read it. We've not given anybody's email address out.
No.
Not read anybody's email address out. Oh, key103.co.uk, obviously.
Which is ours, yeah.
Not read anybody else's out, have we?
No.
Not even a fit of absent-mindedness?
No.
Oh, well, there you go.
Nothing. It's very strange.
Because If they read somebody's mobile phone number out, that would be terrible.
Because they might get loads of funny phone calls.
Yeah, from people who might use terrible language, like you've... Anyway, that, you know, like this.
Yeah.
Anyway, that probably won't happen.
No, I doubt it. No. Oh, well, it would do if we read the number out, which it wouldn't.
No. Not even if we did it in code, like so many numbers at a time.
Yeah.
And people could, you know, like when you do competitions sometimes.
Yeah.
And you have to like listen to a question in the morning.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if we did like 3 numbers at a time.
10 minutes apart.
Yeah. So people would have to keep track. But even that would be questionable. That'd be
very unlikely.
Yeah, borderline.
Yeah. Do you want some emails?
Yes, please.
Hi James, the banana splits item you mentioned. Did you know that Alan Melvin, the corporal in Sergeant Bilko, used to do the voices? I bet no one else came up with that, says Anne in Astley.
The corporal. Now wait a minute.
Alan Melvin.
There were 2 corporals. There was the tall blonde one. It was like Starsky and Hutch. There was the tall blonde one and the short, dark, Italian-looking one.
Yeah.
So I assume... I don't want to commit myself. I'll look into that. But no, thank you very much indeed. That's a very interesting... God, how could anybody know that? That's appalling.
We've been on at weeks now trying to find why Wally Range is called so.
Yes!
And we have the answer from Brian in Withington, who says, Wally Range got its name from the landowner Samuel Brooks. His birthplace was Whalley in Lancashire. And that's what...
Have you ever been to Whalley?
No.
It's a fantastic, beautiful place. I'll tell you who lives there.
Have I pronounced that? Whalley.
I think they say Whalley.
Whalley.
Yeah. It's not as bad as the earlier one.
No.
Denny Lane lives there. Used to be in Wings and all that sort of thing. He lives in Whalley. It's fantastic, beautiful village on the way to sort of Chorley, Clitheroe from here. It's lovely.
Listen to this though. He also gave his name to Brooklands.
Mr. Brook.
Yeah.
Brooklands. And Whalley Range. Fantastic.
There we go. Now we know.
However, as one door closes, another one shuts. Because somebody now wants to know why Miles Platting is called Miles Platting.
No.
Yeah.
It's going to go on and on.
Yeah. And somebody wants to know why Blakely is called Blakely. And why it's not pronounced Blackley. So it just goes...
about that last week, weren't we?
It just goes on and on and on. Yeah.
We'll do Didsbury and Sale next week.
Right, okay then.
Hi James, you were asking about Martin Shaw's Captain Scott. This is from Moira. It was called The Last Place God Made and was very strange because Captain Scott was a blundering fool rather than a hero. I hope that helps.
This is with... It's a sort of rhetorical device, that. This is with... And you will be... This is... Lewis Collins. Who is it?
Martin Shaw.
Martin Shaw, then. The other one. The other professional. Yeah. Martin Shaw as Captain Scott.
Yeah.
Right, okay. And it's called The Last Place God Made.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
When people say it's not all it's cracked up to be, what was that? What was it that was originally cracked up? Where's the saying come from, James? And that's from Phil in Royton.
I don't know. Put that in the...
Should we put that in pending?
Put that in pending, yeah.
Harry says the same about the Last Place God Made and Martin Shaw.
Martin Shaw as Captain Scott?
Yes.
Right. Escaped my attention, that one.
Hello, James. Does anyone know why we say never in a month of Sundays? Also, when we don't know the answer to a question, why do we shrug our shoulders?
Don't know. Oh!
You don't actually know?
But I just did it then.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, you shrugged your shoulders?
Yeah, it's all about observation, isn't it?
Yeah. Strange. Sue in Oldham says, Hi, James. I heard you use an expression recently that reminded me of my childhood. You're not that old, are you? Blood and sand. My mother used to say it regularly. Can you shed any light on its origins, please?
Right, I'll tell you exactly. I'll do 2 for the price of 1 here.
Go on.
This is amazing, this. Blood and sand is obviously, it's clearly a euphemism, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Blood and sand. Blood and Sand is a title of a novel.
Oh, is it?
By Ernest Hemingway.
Right.
And it's about bullfighting.
Right.
Blood and sand.
Sand, yeah.
So people used to say it instead of swearing.
What's that got to do with the novel, though?
Because there was a drought on at the time. No, people used to say blood and sand instead of saying bloody hell or whatever you weren't allowed to say on the radio in those days. But nowadays you can say virtually anything. So people used to say it
Yeah, but what's the connection?
It's like saying zoons instead of God's wounds. It's like a euphemism. A euphemism!
I know, but I don't understand the connection with the novel, even though that's what it was called. Why then does it mean...
Is it me? Honestly, is it me?
I don't get it.
Instead of saying bloody hell...
I know, I understand that bit.
Yeah, I know you understand bloody hell. Mrs. Parker will be tearing her hair out listening to this. She'll have got the headed deckle-edged notepaper out already. Right? So instead of using a swear word, you use a non-swear word, which nonetheless makes your intentions clear.
Yeah, I know, but why the connection with the novel?
Because it begins with the word blood.
So it's just picked up on?
Yes.
Right.
However, well, I didn't expect, actually, to spend quite so long on that one. So, let's move on to the second part, more in hope than expectation. Something the Auntie Flo used to say was, and please bear with me, she used to say, blood and stomach pills. Okay?
That's ridiculous.
Right. And I assumed, again, it was just...
That was just her
putting
her own anti-flame slant on it.
Just an alternative to swearing.
Yeah.
Right? Until...
I'm crazy, me. That's what she was doing, wasn't she?
No.
She was just making it unique.
No, not at all.
No one else said it.
How thorough was your interview?
Very.
Anyway, she used to say this to herself, and I thought, is it what? I've no idea of the origins. Was it like? I'm sure there isn't a novel called Blood and Stomach Pills, right? Anyway.
There might be now.
You know the museum in Salford on the Crescent? Where they've got the old street indoors. I don't know, I can't remember what it is, I can't remember what it's called now.
No.
But they've got a replica of a street indoors.
Right.
To show what life was like in years gone by. And it goes from sort of medieval, it's all buildings jumbled together, and there's like a medieval bit and a Victorian bit, and there's a little pub and all this sort of thing. Something Street it's called. Anyway, 35,000 people will text in the name of it now. More money for us, eh? Hey!
It's not the Granada Studio store, is it?
No, it's on the Crescent.
I don't know.
I don't care whether you don't know. It remains a fact.
Go on, then.
This is purgatory.
Go on.
Anyway, in the various bits of... They've got, like, fronts of houses up and shop windows and all this sort of thing. Right? There was a bit like it in Granada Studios tour, but this was there before then, and as far as I'm aware, it's still there.
Right.
So, in the chemist's shop, it's got various proprietary medicines on display. Most of them highly carcinogenic or full of mercury or opium or whatever. You wouldn't get away with it for a second now. But these were like Victorian remedies for this, that and the other. And I'm just looking at all the stuff in the window, and there, to my astonishment, is a tin with McGillicuddy's, or, some mad proprietary name. Blood and stomach pills.
Oh, blood and stomach pills.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought you might have, because that's, when I said blood and stomach earlier.
I know, but
yeah.
The blood was the bloody bit, wasn't it?
Yeah. But you see, this was a peculiar Victorian outlook on medicine, that you could take a tablet that was good for your blood and your stomach.
Right.
Who knows? But yeah, they were called blood and stomach pills.
But you never heard anyone else say that?
I wasn't particularly listening out for it. But anyway, no, it may very well have been a popular phrase. And what used to happen a lot of the time was, a big thing in this was the music hall, and subsequently the radio, when comics would come on and they'd say something like that, which started off...
And it'd catch on?
Yeah, and people would start using it.
Like garlic bread. Is that what you mean?
No, I don't mean this at all. Oh, dear. Anyway, don't just be a giggle box, come on.
Okay. Sorry. Just...
Years of training.
Oh, no. I hope I haven't got the giggles.
largely at the taxpayer's expense.
Paul in Oldham says, hi, James. Have a break.
Hey?
Have a break. We'll do it in a minute. We'll do these in a minute.
Not time for one yet.
I'm alright, hold on. I'm getting all hot. That American Civil War.
Oh. Look, I'll tell you what we'll do. I've got a better idea.
You talk for a minute.
Right. What I'll do is... Oh, Christ. Right. I'm going to do something here now, if I can find this. Right. We had a text message... Oh, this is key103.co.uk. No, it's not, is it? Anyway, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Right. There was a request much, much earlier, and I can't find it now. It was from a girlie who's interested in football, which is very unusual in itself. But, stop it! But I'm dying to do this. It was much earlier on. I'm sorry about this, but the system doesn't really... Oh, where does Boggart Old Clough come from and all this sort of thing. Right. Anyway, right. An hour and a half ago, Jane texted in the following message. Oh, and it says, what country started football? Okay, simple question. Easy to text in. What country started football? And I thought, well, there's a way of answering this. There's a dry, factual way of answering it, but there's also this way of doing it. Are you ready? Good. Listen.
I'm often asked about the beautiful game, about old England's chances, and my reply remains the same. The English invented football. Without us, there'd be no World Cup. Who cares about the final score? It was us what thought it up. It was alright here. It was alright here. It was alright here. Football was alright here. My mate Big Dave says we're gonna win. He's never been right before in his life, but you gotta believe like him. We invented football. Don't let them forget. It was us the ball, the foot to the ball, and the ball in the back of the net. It was alright. Not the French. It was alright. Not the Germans. It was alright. Definitely not Brazil. Mind you, we are friends with the Germans now. England haven't won it since 40 years ago. We thought we'd have a little time off and give the others a go. We thought of football, it was our idea. If it wasn't for us, you'd have nothing to do and there'd be nobody here. It was alright. We thought of it. It was alright. No one else. It was alright. Wasn't the Russians, was it? Definitely not the Yanks. Not Spain. The Portuguese, please. Wasn't the Belgians. They haven't thought of anything. What's that, Wayne?
Obviously, Key103 PLC or whatever it is can't endorse any of the sentiments expressed in that, but that's a fact. We thought we'd illustrate it, you see, courtesy of Al Murray, the pub landlord, and I'm bitterly disappointed because I predicted that would be the unofficial World Cup song. That would be the Three Lions of 2006. Whereas, what are they called? Are you all right now?
I'm fine now. Embrace.
Embraces was the official song. It was Tripe, and I thought that would be the one which would capture the popular imagination, and it didn't. But it's quite right. It was our idea. The English invented football. And people will argue that, it was the Aztecs played it and The Japanese played it years ago, a primitive form called kamari, which was just like glorified keepy-uppy. But, yeah, people have kicked things since time immemorial. But the Football Association and what have you, I think the rules were formulated by a groundsman at a public school somewhere who drew up the rules. And we actually did call it soccer.
Did we?
We actually called it soccer to begin with. Because it was a public school where the association was shortened to soccer by the undergraduate types. It was the groundsman at Eton or somebody like that, or a public school or a college or somewhere. But anyway, that's it. It was essentially football as we know it today was our idea. Thank you. There we are. And I think Jackie has gathered herself and she'll be able to carry on in a moment. This is Key 103. It's 12 minutes to midnight.
Egypt is fantastic.
It's a country where everything's beautiful.
The people are so cool.
When you're here, there's a kind of magic. It's great to be here.
Egyptians treat you so well. Unforgettable beaches.
Egypt is like a dream.
Will I come back? Of course.
Nothing compares to Egypt.
If you left your heart in Egypt too, make sure to say so at the Love Egypt Club at www.egypt.travel.
The Constitution, according to Talk Talk. You have the right to roam the internet freely. You have the right to access information, to download and surf freely. You see, Talk Talk believe the internet is a right, not a privilege. So when you get the new Talk 3 International Call package, you'll get up to 8 meg broadband free forever. Join up at talktalk.co.uk. Talk Talk. Free forever. One-off connection fee, line rental, fair use, minimum contract terms and conditions apply, subject to availability.
So, boys, should we go to the park?
Nah.
Cinema?
Can't be bothered.
Ice skating?
Oh, we've done that last week.
About the fun fair?
No thanks.
Ooh, go-karting?
Boring.
Pizza?
Oh, no.
What about the zoo?
Oh, Mummy's standing in front of the screen.
I know, swimming?
No.
No picnic?
Oh, you are joking.
Go to a museum?
Yeah, you're having a laugh.
What about an art gallery?
Forget it.
No? What about skydiving?
Skydiving.
Find out when the school term starts again. Simply visit direct.gov.uk/mycouncil. Plus, find information on school holiday schemes, after-school activities, and much more. Connect to your local council at direct.gov.uk/mycouncil.
The James H. Reeve phone-in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
All right, before we move on to some serious matters, the foul mouth who texted in before said, James, I don't care, although obviously you can't say it in those terms. Read my number out if you want. I'm only expressing my angry self. You have my permission to read it. Go ahead. I need the friends. Well, that was your big mistake, you see. Because if you hadn't put that bit on the end, I probably would have done. But if you need the friends, the last thing I'm going to do is put you in touch with anybody else. So, shove it. Is there anything left for you to do?
There's just a couple. And this is from Paul, and it says, Hi, James. That American Civil War sub you just asked about, it was the CSS Hunley, and it sank the USS Am I pronouncing this correctly? Housatonic in Charleston Harbour in 1864.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, if that's what it says, yeah.
It was named...
I seem to be back to square one.
After Hunley, who designed and built it. He drowned when it sank.
Right, well, I've had a dispute about that. Somebody's just said to me...
Are you all right?
My crow's nest.
Oh, dear.
So, no, what happened was, the theory is that they successfully destroyed this Union ship and then waited underwater to escape detection and suffocated.
That was stupid.
Yeah, what's the whole point of having it submarine? Yeah, no, but they were overcome by, ran out of air. Anyway, the CSS, what, Hunley?
Yeah.
Hunley, that's right. Yeah. I knew it was something like Whitney.
Housatonic in Charleston Harbour.
Housatonic, yeah, okay.
Hi, James.
Swim line.
I really enjoyed your Peter Sellers impression last night. It could have been Peter himself. Can I ask if anyone knows if Roger Moore has also played the part? I didn't believe this, but I'm told it's true.
Roger Moore has played Inspector Clouseau.
That's what it says. This is Samantha in Wigan.
Don't know that one, missus. Roger Moore, Inspector Clouseau. Not to my knowledge. But somebody has. A Yank has played Inspector Clouseau, hasn't he?
I don't know.
And hasn't Steve Martin just tried to play him? He's the unfunniest man in show business.
Has he?
I think he has, yeah.
What, in a film?
Yeah. Can you imagine how bad that must be?
That rings a bell, actually.
Yeah. But I know... yeah. He's just shocking. Is that... Have you cleared the decks?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Right, one or two things to bring you up to date with. Just refresh you about one or two things. Last week we were talking about the expression posh, and somebody claimed, as they tend to do, that it stands for port out, starboard home. I said it didn't. There's no evidence that it does. And I think I said the posh was used by the shipping line P&O. And I think I said it stood for, P&O stood for Pacific and Oriental. No, it means Peninsula and Oriental, referring to the Iberian Peninsula. Right, okay, stand corrected. I can cast no light on the authenticity of the origin of the word posh. The origin is obscure. The first recorded use of the word posh was in the British satirical magazine Punch, mentioned for the second time this evening, in September 1918, though an earlier possible reference uses the word push. The Oxford English Dictionary records a definition of the word as a noun from 1890, meaning a dandy. But there is no evidence at all, despite extensive searching of shipping company records and tickets from the relevant period. Nothing has revealed any evidence for the port out, starboard home theory of explanation of the word posh. So that's the best we can do, mate. A couple of weeks ago, a lad came on, can't remember his name now, but he said he wondered what the name Chadwick, what the surname Chadwick meant. Well, there are a couple of places called Chadwick, 4 places actually, 1 in Lancashire, 1 in Warwickshire, 2 in Worcestershire, and as I think we said, the Witch, or Wick bit, means a place, as in Prestwich, Northwich, Middlewich, Nantwich. It means a farmstead or a settlement or a place of dwelling. So that's the Wick bit taken care of. And the Chad bit is an Old English name, Cadle. So Cadle's Wick or Witch became Chadwick. Cada became Chad, and there was a bishop called St. Chad. So it's not very romantic, but Chadwick just means from Chad's place. And the variants of the name Chadwick are Chaddock, Chattock, Shadwick, Shaddock, Shaddock and Shattock. So there. So that's what it means. That's what Chadwick means. Okay. Questions about Tim Brooke-Taylor, Graham Garden and various members of the Monty Python crew getting together before they took on their final guise. Broaden Your Mind, a BBC TV programme from 1968. Broaden Your Mind was a fast-paced, themed sketch show with those 2 ingredients worked into the mix, that is, a part quiz and part educational. Bit like this, then. It was Tim Brooke-Taylor's idea, inspired by the proliferation of weekly part-work magazines that built eventually into an all-encompassing tome. He realised that a spoof of the format would enable the players to fit any number of sketches around each week's chosen theme. I see. So, and so on it goes. Michael Palin, Terry Jones and Bill Oddie appeared as guest artists during the first series. Bill Oddie joined the cast as a regular member for the second series, and then the goodies were all in place. And some of them also featured in the radio series I'm Sorry, I'll Read That Again. So there. Got the picture? Yeah. So I think what we're looking for is broaden your mind. I just realised to my horror, I've printed that off twice. I've got the whole schmear as to why New Zealand is called New Zealand here, but also, Dave in Swinton said, just to give you an excuse to do your impression again, can I ask for help with a Kenneth Williams mystery? Everybody knows the Carry On star and his many comedy roles. Blimey, you write this as if you're writing for the TV Times here. I'm trying to find a drama film that Kenneth Williams was in. Does anyone recall a film where Kenneth Williams was a murderer who shot dead a native and sparked off a native uprising? It was a costume drama, probably in the 1950s, and ended with the natives attacking the fort. Kenneth Williams came to a sticky end with a native spear stuck in his chest. It was the only time I can think of when Kenneth Williams didn't play a comedy character. What was it called? Well, Dave, I've done a lot of work, mate, and this was difficult. This was difficult. However, you will find, Dave, that the film was called The Seekers. 1954. In America, it was released as Land of Fury. So, it starred Jack Hawkins and Glynis Johns. Apparently it was a terrible film, but Kenneth Williams, although he's billed in it as Kenny Williams, Kenneth Williams played a serious role. Land of Fury, or The Seekers, is an austere Western-style film set in New Zealand during the 1820s. The epic proportioned storyline involves a group of British pioneers seeking a new life in New Zealand. Sailor Jack Hawkins and his wife Glynis Johns are the central characters, struggling to impose their British sense of order upon their primitive surroundings. Hostilities between native tribes and greedy settlers lead to a tragic but not unexpected climax. So I've got a feeling that that's the one. You can find info about it. It's scattered very much amongst Kenneth Williams' various biographical sites. Someone is running a Kenneth Williams website, which is called stopmessingabout.co.uk, which is brilliant. But that, I think you'll find, is the answer. John in Manchester, referring to our Zulu special, could you remind us again of the name of the book? The book about Rorke's Drift is called Rorke's Drift, and it's by James Bancroft. James Bancroft, who is from, he lives in Eccles, but he did it. And I might actually... Anyway, I've got the standard book number and what have you here, but I'm not going to do it now. Remember the name, James Bancroft. Just think of Anne Bancroft, and it's called Rorke's Drift, which you can't really go wrong with that, can you? Thank you. Anything else? Yeah, more to come. Sean Connery as Roald Amundsen, and how New Zealand got its name. Extraordinary. 0161 288 0103. As we continue, Queries and Theories with James H. Reeve on Key 103. Right. Off to Bagley in a moment.
To get free broadband forever, just answer this simple question. Can you find your way to talktalk.co.uk? TalkTalk from the Carphone Warehouse will give you up to 8 meg broadband free forever with their Talk 3 international call package. So you'll never have to pay to use the internet again. Join up today at talktalk.co.uk. TalkTalk. Free forever. One-off connection fee, line rental, fair use, minimum contract terms and conditions apply, subject to availability.
Egypt is fantastic.
It's a country where everything's beautiful.
The people are so cool.
When you're here, there's a kind of magic. It's great to be here.
Egyptians treat you so well. Unforgettable beaches.
Egypt is like a dream.
Will I come back? Of course.
Nothing compares to Egypt.
If you left your heart in Egypt too, make sure to say so at the Love Egypt Club at www.egypt.travel.
The James H. Reeve phone-in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
I'm heartened to see that Sue from Oldham says, my mum used to say blood and stomach pills as well. Well, there we are. That's gratifying. Martin Bagley, what are you going to do now?
What am I going to do?
You're going to shoot. You're going to rob and shoot the wounded now, aren't you?
I'll try.
Okay, then.
Certainly try. Yeah. Yes.
Hey, I've got a bone to pick with you.
Have you ever born for a pick?
I've born for a pick with you.
Oh, go on then.
Yeah.
Right.
You said the something or other, the dispositions of Oxford, or the provisions of Oxford, which is whenever...
Provisions. Yeah.
Well, I was having a read of a thing the other day, and it said that surnames first emerged in the 12th century, but it was actually many hundreds of years before everybody actually had one.
Well, I wouldn't deny that, but what I actually said was that the provisions of Oxford gave more freedom for tenant farmers, and thus required the use of surnames. Obviously, didn't mean to say that, 2 days later, after it was pinned up on the gate, that everyone went out and got a surname. Of course, it was the Black Death then that decreased the population by, was it, a third?
Yeah.
And, people moved up a notch or two on the social register,
All right, then, I'll go along with that. But I think it was, I
didn't say they originated from there. I just said that was one of the major sort of sort of like great leaps forward,
Right. But apparently one of the problems was, and oh dear me, I meant to bring this in tonight, I can't find it. But apparently in, whatever year it was, 1300 and something, a third of the population was called William, John, or something or other. Three Christian names accounted for a third of the male population. So it was all starting to get a bit confusing, you see, so that's how they had to distinguish between them.
The population of Britain, or, well, England, I suppose, it was pretty much static for about 500 years.
Oh, yeah.
Until the sort of the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
Well, just a little bit before that, but,
Here's one for you.
Go on.
Here's one for you. During the First World War, fancy me raising something about the First World War.
I know, yeah.
Britain manufactured or bought twice as many rifles as the entire population of the country at the time of the Spanish Armada. Now, it's not every day somebody tells you that, is it?
Well, bad in my heart, a wounded knee.
Yeah.
Yeah, blimey. Anyway, you were talking about Inspector Clouseau being played by a septic.
Yeah.
There's been about 3 or 4 septics played Inspector Clouseau. Alan Arkin played him in the 60s. 1968, and the film was actually called, rather unimaginatively, Inspector Clouseau. Somebody called Ted Wass, W-A-A-S. I think he was some kind of aspiring comedian, or, well, it didn't really go anywhere. And I think he was in soap, actually. He played him in a film in the late 80s or early 90s called Son of Clouseau.
Right.
Then Steve Martin.
Ted Wass was in the series Soap, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which was brilliant.
Yeah. Was he the one with the ventriloquist dummy?
I'm trying to think now. Now you've started another one off now, haven't you?
Yeah.
But hey, listen, just before you go on, let me tell you something about Soap. Soap was fantastic. Late 70s, early 80s American sitcom.
Yeah.
And it was deliberately balmy and very satirical about the American way of life. And it was a bit saucy, and I think it alluded to homosexuality and all manner of things.
Transvesticism, transsexualism, all kinds of things.
All the lot. Everything your heart desires. And Billy Crystal started off in it, and all this sort of thing. And I wondered several times why it had never been shown again.
Well, it has, but you have to own cable TV or Sky.
Yeah, do you know why it was never shown on network again? Because in the new moral climate of Ronald Reagan and what have you, they started to show it again, and a lot of the big sponsors said, I'm sorry, this is very, very anti-American, this. We don't like all this satire and all this taking the mickey out of American standards and what have you. So they threatened to withdraw the sponsorship, and they actually got the reruns of soap pulled off the air on American TV.
Right.
Now then, you'll find I'm right on that.
Right.
Again.
I don't doubt it. No names, no pack drill.
Yeah.
I thought it originally meant, I think it was some kind of disciplinary inducement to remember your army number. And then it became, you know, the other thing, you know, all stick together. Yeah, I think so, yeah. And it was all, well, your army number, and also to refer to people by the right rank as well.
Okay, I'll go along with that.
You know, you kept really going around calling people, you know, oi, Bill, you know, get over there, you know. And your other thing, what was the other thing? Matron, yes. Oh, Jonathan Ross's, I think you'll find it was £41.33.
What was?
Well, you said it was £6, what was it, 650 quid for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You worked it out. I think you worked it out wrong, mate.
No, I divided 18 million...
Yes.
By 3.
By 3 what? What's the 3?
Over 3 years.
Right.
By 365.
Right.
By 24.
That's what I did, but don't forget, he does 3 different shows, doesn't he? Yeah? So I divided by 3 again.
Well, I divided it by 24, that gives you his hourly rate.
Yeah.
And he took 40 minutes to do it, so it's 2/3 of his hourly rate.
Well, I did it by 10 minutes. I did obviously a different working out method.
Well, I reckon it's in the, it's getting on for 500 quid. But bear in mind, it took him 40 minutes, and they threw half an hour of it away.
What? It took him 40 minutes to interview him?
It was edited down to 10.
Ah, right.
And they still left the Jodrell Bank remark in.
Ah, yeah, and the legalised drugs thing, yeah.
Yeah, so if that 10 minutes was the pick of it, I dread to think what they cut out.
Indeed, yeah. Oh, but the other thing that somebody mentioned before, a chap from Salford, was it, about the George Washington? I cannot tell a lie.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, a load of rubbish apparently. I never said it at all. No, it's attributed to an Anglican minister called Parson Weems.
What?
Who wrote some hagiography bio. I think it was the year after he died, so it would have been about 1800 when it came out. But it's just one of those misquotations
apocryphal tales.
Are completely made up, basically.
A bit like I Want to Tell You a Story.
I Want to Tell You a Story. No, I think he did actually say that, didn't he?
Oh, well, he says he didn't, but, you know.
Well, perhaps he didn't. No.
Right, but maybe he's forgetting.
The kind of thing he might have said.
Well, thanks very much indeed. I do like this, this sort of,
nitpicking.
Well, yeah, the way you come in as a sort of,
I like to see myself as a bottom feeder.
Well, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people have said it, but now I come in and I sort of, I clean up, I finesse your answers.
Oh, do you?
So you could say that, yeah, I'm the brains behind the throne.
Oh,
yeah.
Are you? Right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you. In that case, tell me who decided to call New Zealand New Zealand.
Well, you've already said, haven't you?
No.
Well, you said it was something to do with, what was it, Staten Island. Well, obviously Australia was called New Holland, so they couldn't call it that. Who decided to call New Zealand?
Australia was called New Holland at one time, you're quite right.
Yes, and it was Abel Tasman, was it, who discovered it?
Abel Janszoon Tasman.
Ah, right. It wasn't Van Diemen, was it?
Nope.
Right.
You don't
know. A lot more recent than that, is it?
No, you will never get this in a million years.
New
frankly.
Zealand.
I'm just toying with you.
Oh, right, okay. Right. Okay, then, who is it?
Well, it won't make any sense unless I tell you the whole story.
Well, tell me the whole schmear, then.
Well, listen, you're supposed to sit at home and listen to the wireless. That's the point.
Okay, then, I'll go.
Okay, well, just sit back, pour yourself, pour yourself sit there with a Jack Daniels in your hand, or whatever you do.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Listen and reflect, and I will hold forth in a moment or two.
Okay, right.
Okay.
All right, then.
Right, thank you. And if at any point our service is less than 100% satisfactory, please don't feel that you have to hold back.
No, I think it's an excellent show, sir.
I know.
It's an excellent show.
I know it is. I know.
It's capital.
All right. Oh, no, it's not. It's ha 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 ha. Yeah, get off. Thank you very much indeed. That was our Baguli correspondent. And don't ask me why it's called Bagley. I have no idea. Right, some serious things now. In response to previous enquiries, we'll start with this one. Okay, this was Emma from Salford, and she sent this in. Actually, sent it in during the afternoon. You see, to get in nice and early. Listen to this. Can anyone help me with some information about a film in which Sean Connery played the explorer Roald Amundsen, who was the first man to reach the South Pole? Isn't it curious how these, someone's quite out of the blue has asked about Captain Scott, and then we get Amundsen, who, of course, beat him to the South Pole, and so on. The film was about Amundsen's very mysterious real-life disappearance. Does it ring any bells? Well, Emma, I have done a great deal of research on your behalf, and this is the story. It's not as obscure as the Kenneth Williams one, but it's still pretty obscure. The film was called, and I have never heard of this at all, never in my life. The film was called The Red Tent. Okay? True story. It was made in round about 1971. Actually, there's a couple of different opinions there, but 1971 is the favourite one. The Red Tent is the true story of a 1928 expedition to the Arctic. It was the film that is, a joint Italian and Russian co-production. This is the plot. Peter Finch stars in it as General Umberto Nobile, Italian. He's already led an expedition many years earlier to the North Pole, and some of his team lost their lives. So 40 years later, he's visited by the ghosts. And this is apparently, the ghost bit isn't true, obviously, because that doesn't happen. But it's true that he believed it, and what happens next is true. Okay. He recalls the attempt in flashback. Oh, this is getting too complicated now, but anyway. He attempted to cross the North Pole in an airship, which was called the Italia. When it crashes, Nobile and his crew are scattered across the ice, left to struggle against the freezing cold elements and the polar bears and other things. Right. So, in an effort to save the expedition, Roald Amundsen, the explorer, who is played by Sean Connery, is sent to rescue Nobile. When he disappears, never to be heard from again, an icebreaker is launched to bring Nobile home, but at the expense of his crewmates. So, there we are. This all happened in 1928, okay? That's what happened. So, it was a costly box office failure. It won a Golden Globe for the Best English Language Foreign Film, but nobody went to see it. And the story is Roald Amundsen disappeared on June the 18th, 1928, while flying on a rescue mission with a famous Norwegian pilot, a famous French pilot, and 3 more Frenchmen, looking for the missing members of Umberto Nobile's crew. The airship had crashed while returning from the North Pole, and so on. It's believed that the plane crashed in fog in the Barents Sea, that Amundsen was killed in the crash or died shortly afterwards. His body was never found. The search for Amundsen was called off in September of that year by the Norwegian government. A recent discovery suggest that the plane went down somewhere near Bear Island. So, there. So that's the story. The Red Tent. Never heard of it before. So that's not bad, is it? Thank you. I will shortly do for you how New Zealand got its name. I keep teasing you with that one, don't I? But let's have a word with Peter in Salford, see what he's got to say. Hello, Peter in Salford.
Hello, James. What it is, I've been listening to you for weeks and weeks now, well, over the years.
And it's flown, hasn't it?
It has, it's flown. But what the problem, it's not a problem, it was something that came to my mind that's, as any viewers, Carl, can your, not viewers, your telephone people...
Hillmans?
Yeah. Remember a programme that was on the TV called Quatermass.
Oh! You've played right into my hand.
Right, what it is I always remember it because it's so frightening, and you're seeing things now for the young kids on the television, and it seems nothing to them. It used to frighten me to death.
Yeah, such is life. I mean, I think the Daleks are pretty overrated myself, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, and like you see these guys with all these full faces and all that. If you can remember in that Quatermass film, they was coming out, there was no skin on their face, and it was just unbelievable, you know, at the time. I mean, I'm going back how long now, James? 50?
The Quatermass TV series, and we did talk about this briefly a few weeks ago, but there was, I can't remember who played Professor Quatermass.
No, I remember that, yeah.
But there were 2 films, and there was a TV series.
Yeah, I remember, that's all I remember is a series. I don't remember the films, yeah.
Now, the first one was called, I think it was just called Quatermass.
There was one Quatermass 1 and Quatermass 2, wasn't there?
Was there one called the Quatermass Experiment?
Yeah.
I can't remember now. One of them is about a bloke who, and this was when I don't think actually space travel had actually happened.
No, this is what I'm trying to say to you.
Right.
Yeah.
But the plot was a bloke, and it sounds pretty hackneyed now, but it wasn't a bad idea at the time.
Yeah.
Is that an astronaut returns, and he appears to be in good shape when he gets back, but then he starts to change.
That's right, yeah,
and
I remember that, yeah.
Something's got into him, and it starts to take him over, and he turns into like a big blob.
That's right, yeah, that's right, yeah.
And he ends up being, it's quite sad, it's a bit like Frankenstein sort of thing. He ends up being cornered in St Paul's Cathedral, I think, at the end.
Yeah, I can't remember, that's what I say, I'm just saying that any of your people who have watched it or whatever, and...
Okay, well, are you ready then?
Yep.
The other one was about aliens who are here and they're planning to take over the world, which is a plot line you might have heard before.
Yeah.
And they're breeding in this top secret establishment.
Yeah.
Nobody's allowed to go near.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be doing some top secret government work, but actually they're breeding in this atmosphere and they're getting ready to take the world over. Yeah. And do you know where it was filmed?
No idea.
It was filmed in Carrington.
Carrington?
You know the shell works at Carrington?
The old clay pits?
With all the pipe works.
The petrol cylinders, yeah.
It was filmed there.
Good grief.
That was the top secret thing.
Good grief.
Now the other thing, and I was telling Jackie about this, who seems to have got over things. Quatermass and the Pit was a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
And it should be made into a film.
Oh yeah, it should have been, yeah.
Because I think there was a film made of it in the 60s, and it was apparently not very good. But the plot of Quatermass and the Pit is fantastic, and it's crying out with all the special effects and that they've got these days. It's
it's unbelievable. It's what it was, and it was all in black and white, and it was just, you know, you're seeing guys in suits then, and now you're seeing them now in 2006, you know, on certain films on the TV, and it's just unbelievable to see that things are happening again which happened 50 years ago.
Yeah, well, they keep coming up with the same ideas, really, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, I would, if anyone's going to make, anybody's got any money to spend on remaking a fantastic film, or it was a TV series, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
Quatermass and the Pit is brilliant. I'll just get confirmation. I just told you, didn't I, about Quatermass and the Pit?
That's correct, yeah.
Not you, I'm talking to her now.
I don't remember. When was this?
Oh, it must be all of a week ago.
Oh, right.
So that'll be the end of that then, won't it?
Was I nodding away, not really listening? Sorry.
Right.
Right, thanks very much, James.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Quatermass and the Pit. I think we'll have a look. We might have a look and see if we can get some evidence of that. I wonder if it still exists. We might be able to get it on DVD or something. It really was. I mean, even allowing for the comparative naivety of the day, it was a really brilliant idea and a really, really scary.
Oh, you were telling me. Yes,
right,
I do remember
where they find the thing down there when they're building the
Sorry.
extension to the tube.
Yes, I do remember.
And they find this, like a spaceship thing.
I really want to see it, actually.
Very, very clever. Very clever. Well, when your birthday comes round again...
Next year?
Oh, right, yeah.
June the 8th.
I'll get you Hell is a City.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'll see if I can find Quatermass and the Pit for you.
I've seen some nice shoes.
And that's not rhyming slang. No, shoes aren't allowed.
Okay. Bag, no?
Isn't it amazing? Nobody has shown the least bit of interest in Gary from Doncaster's question about peanuts.
You'd be surprised, I have one here.
No.
I do.
Oh. Do you want to do them after the...
Yes.
Right, OK, then we'll do them after the...
Egypt is fantastic.
It's a country where everything's beautiful.
The people are so cool.
When you're here, there's a kind of magic. It's great to be here.
Egyptians treat you so well. Unforgettable beaches.
Egypt is like a dream.
Will I come back? Of course.
Nothing compares to Egypt.
If you left your heart in Egypt too, make sure to say so at the Love Egypt Club at www.egypt.travel.
You know running's good, and raising money, well, that feels great. But running and raising money? Now that's amazing. Running 10 kilometres for Cancer Research UK is a fantastic way to fundraise for the UK's leading cancer charity. Whether you're running because somebody close to you has been touched by cancer, or you just want to run and raise money at a spectacular venue, entry couldn't be simpler. To join us at Tatton Park on the 24th of September, visit cancerresearchuk10.co.uk. The Cancer Research UK 10K. Together, we will beat cancer.
Normally in B&Q ads there's an awful lot to say and I have to talk really, really fast to get it all in. But this time, it's really simple. Duracell batteries at low B&Q prices. Lots of them. Loads, actually. And that's it. Might as well relax and recharge my batteries.
I'm Eileen and I'm quitting with nicotine. I quit cigarettes about 6 weeks ago and I find that the nicotine lozenges are definitely helping. When I get a craving now, I pop nicotine lozenge in my mouth and I find that my cravings are gone within minutes. Before I quit cigarettes, I was really worried that I was going to put on a lot of weight. But I find they help take away my cravings for cigarettes and they help to reduce my food cravings.
Eileen quit smoking last year using nicotine CQ 4mg lozenges, which helped Eileen control her cravings and her weight while she quit. Requires willpower, contains nicotine, always read the label.
The James H. Reeve phone in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Yes, sir, indeed. A couple of quick text messages have flooded in. Elizabeth says, I remember Quatermass. Andre Morel played Professor Quatermass. I dare say he did. Yeah, I think he did now. And she says, I remember, Hobbs Lane.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the Hobgoblins.
Hobgoblins.
Right.
Brilliant.
Which, I won't give it away if you don't know what we're on about. Okay, let's go to the email desk.
And the first one from Briley Stubbs in Manchester says, Martin Short was in the 1985 mini-TV series called The Last Place on Earth about Scott and Amundsen's race to
and?
the... Amundsen's?
And?
Amundsen's.
Just say what you say. Say what you see.
Amundsen's.
Say what you see.
Yeah, that's what... no.
What
is it?
It's written down there.
Amundsen's.
Right, well, we've learnt tonight that the first person to reach the South Pole was Harry Ramsden.
No, I didn't say that. Amundsens.
Better.
Yeah? Right.
By George, she's got it. I think she's got it.
To be the first to the South Pole. Shaw played Robert Falcon Scott, and the cast also included Bill Nighy and Pat Roach, who both appeared in Als wieder ein Pet.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah.
John in Salford says, considering the quote, no names, no pat drill, it comes from the military where two rows of soldiers were lined up when a private had committed a misdemeanour and was forced to run through the two rows and take a whacking.
No.
I'm not sure if it was with sticks or rifles.
That's running the gauntlet. That's nothing to do with no names, no pat drill.
Oh, he's got them confused.
Unless the Duke of Wellington was present. I can't see that. I don't think that happened when he was doing national service.
Dear James says the famous Mr. Bryn Eccles in Stockport.
Oh, I thought we'd managed to... I thought the hit squad had got to him.
And this is in reference to Gary and Doncaster's question.
Oh.
Or just comments, really. I have invented the peanut Eccles cake. Do you want to put some of your Wonga up to help me make it?
I'm afraid the death squad will have to...
pay a visit.
With any luck, the people trying to kill Phil... I'll mistake him. But yeah.
Hello, James, says Moira in Ancoats. Further to your bit about the two Englishmen aboard the Confederate submarine just now, isn't there an American Civil War sailor buried in Southern Cemetery? Was he one of them?
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to have a look at that.
Yeah. Simon in Bolton says, James, after that garlic bread idiot comment, you should walk out on principle and not return until that daft Doris of yours enrolls on an electric shock course of therapy. Which is nice, that's nice.
Mm.
And Gunther in Oldham says, on the subject...
Gunther?
Yeah. On the subject of early submarines, a prototype was offered by an American inventor to Napoleon around 1805. This wasn't taken up, apparently, and he then offered it to the English, who also didn't want to know. Now, this character was played by Orson Welles in the film Austerlitz. Strange film with Jack Palance, of all people.
In the film what?
Austerlitz.
Somebody's put you up to this, haven't they?
No. Is that wrong?
Well...
Austerlitz. Austerlitz.
I can only suggest that you read the letters out in the order that they're printed. Because that's the way...
Austerlitz. That's the way it's written.
Often pronounced Austerlitz.
Austerlitz.
Yeah.
I'm
it's
a bit
battle
tired
in the
tonight.
Napoleonic Wars where Napoleon gave the Russians a right scene to.
I'm a bit tired. And this is all before my time, don't forget.
Oh, well, that would explain it, yeah. You probably can't say Stonehenge, then.
No.
On the same principle.
He says he can't remember the American's name, though.
Oh, right. Napoleon was offered a number of things, including a breech-loading rifle.
Right.
And he said,
no, thank you.
Get out of here. And also a steamship.
Really?
And he said, you are trying to tell me that you can make a ship sail against the wind merely by lighting a fire on board it.
And you can.
Don't mess with me with your silly ship ideas, he said.
Did he?
Like that. Because he was like a bit somewhere between...
French and Welsh?
Yeah. Somewhere between Inspector Clouseau and that bloke in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. So there. Right. DC Rooks said, you don't need to buy Hell is a City. I'll send you my copy on DVD. Did you know Warren Mitchell was in it? No, I didn't. And Peter in Prestwich says, I downloaded Quatermass and the Pit, the film of Quatermass and the Pit, ages ago, and the Quatermass conclusion. Oh, there must have been more than I realised. Both of them are good. Yeah. Quatermass and the Pit is just crying out to be remade. It's brilliant. Ta. And Heinrich Himmler in Rochdale says, safe, James. What is your favourite Hitler moment? Mine was his unforgettable invasion of the Sudetenland in 1938. Regards, Heinrich Himmler, Rochdale. Well, it was more of an annexation than an invasion, I would say. Right. Oh, and Albert says the Quatermass series is out on DVD. You get all 3 series in one box set. And that's from Albert Hall. A likely story. Ta. OK. A couple of Hillmans waiting, but I must do this because I promised to do it ages and ages ago. And I'm sorry if I've kept you on tenterhooks. Don't ask me. Don't ask me what tenterhooks are. It's just one of those things. Right. Are you ready? Katie in Bolton said, James, could you tell me why the country of New Zealand was named thus? I always thought it was discovered by Captain Cook and has always been a British or Commonwealth country. Why was it named after part of Denmark? Thanks. OK. Here we go. Captain Cook didn't discover New Zealand. He explored it a long time afterwards in the... can't remember. 1769 Captain Cook explored it, which is 120 years after it was first discovered. New Zealand was discovered by Abel Tasman, a Dutchman, on the 13th of December 1642, when the crew sighted the coast of South Island. He named it Statenland, which refers to the land of the Dutch States General. OK, that's a technical term. Now, and as we said earlier, you might be aware that there's part of New York which is called Staten Island. It's the same principle. It was named thus by Dutch settlers as a way of claiming it for the Netherlands. Okay. The area of New Zealand which Tasman sighted was in the vicinity of the coast between Hokitika and Okarito. Oh, yeah. On the west coast of the South Island. I should have left that sentence out, shouldn't I? I understand. Now then, it gets a bit more complicated now. There were actually, to begin with, 2 New Zealands. The very first time the name New Zealand appears in history is in 1606, when the Dutch ship Duifken set off on a search for gold and riches rumoured to be somewhere in the Spice Islands region. During the excursion, the captain of the ship, Captain Willem Jans, discovered an island off the coast of New Guinea, which he named New Zealand. OK, Dutch. And the confusion is that there is part of Denmark and part of Holland, which is called Zeeland. Obviously it means the sea, that part of the country next to the sea. So it's Dutch rather than Danish. Anyway, the name New Zealand remained on maps until 1792. So this got a bit confusing. The second New Zealand, once it was discovered that the Statenland was not part of state land, the name Nova Zeelandia, or New Zealand, became attributed to this country within the decade. The name Zeelandia appeared on maps for the first time around 1645. There appears to be no records which explain precisely how New Zealand received its name. One theory is the possible link between New Zealand and Hollandia Nova, New Holland, the original name given to Australia. OK? Because the 2 Dutch provinces of Holland and Zeeland were separated by the sea, just as Australia and New Zealand are. OK, so far so good. But there's a New Zealand geezer who's done massive research into this, and this is what he says is the case. Right. There was no original name for New Zealand. Apparently, the Maoris didn't call it anything. They just got on with it. Tasman's name of Statenland was continued in maps right up to the time of Captain Cook's exploration in 1769. Cook or the British Admiralty probably had a choice between selecting the name Statenland or New Zealand for maps and journals. Cook chose New Zealand. So it was Captain Cook who chose to call it New Zealand. Almost certainly, the originator of the name New Zealand was Johan Blau, who held the appointment of official cartographer to the Dutch East India Company. Probably Blau was directed or consulted by an official or officials of the company in 1648. So there you are. Captain Cook didn't discover New Zealand. This bloke, Tasman, did. A fella called it, a clerk, a cartographer, called it New Zealand, and it was Captain Cook who chose the name when the British subsequently colonised it, although it was first discovered by the Dutch. Now, that's not bad, and all my life I've vaguely wondered why New Zealand is called that. And there we are. We have it. Thank you. Good. 22 minutes to 1. Let's speak to Paul in Hyde and see if he followed that. Paul, you're on Key 103, Old Scout. No, he's not. He's therefore a scoundrel and a jackanapes. Much obliged. No, I don't think this will be not one of her best performances. She's hoping to improve in time for the semi-finals. There's Jackie. Quatermass was played by John Mills in the Thames television production, and Nigel Neal, that's right, wrote 4 Quatermass books. Thank you. I don't know whether they were all those which appeared on film or TV. Someone might have written them specially after they did so well. But anyway, it's worth remembering. If you've never heard of this, have a look. Quatermass, Quatermass. Look that up on Tinternet, and it'll tell you all about it. Ta. Thank you. Michael in Middleton.
Hello, James.
Speak now.
Hello, James. Michael in Middleton. Hello, James.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, could you tell me what the oldest war memorial is?
The oldest war memorial?
Yeah.
This was raised some time ago, and are you talking about a British war memorial?
Well, in the world.
In the world?
Yeah.
Phew, I suppose you could argue that it's Trajan's column in Rome, possibly.
No, I've actually done some research on it myself. Yes. And it's actually, the Battle of Flodden Field.
Oh, Flodden?
Yeah.
Where the English naturally saw the Scots off good and proper and killed most of the Scottish nobility and the King of Scotland into the bargain, I think I'm right in saying.
Yeah.
In, 15...
Well, it was about 1514, because, Sir Richard Ashton, he was commanded by Sir Edward Stanley.
Right.
And they actually beat the Scottish.
Oh, they gave him a right seeing to, yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a church in Middleton called St. Leonard's Parish Church.
Right.
And there's a stained glass window there that was actually placed in it in 1524 by Sir Richard Ashton himself.
I've often wondered, a couple of things.
Yeah.
About the Ashton business, because obviously there's, Ashton underline, we understand that.
Yeah.
And you see it spelled Ashheton, don't you, in a few places, right? And I gather he was a bit of the medieval one was a bit of a rascal, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he was a bit, he was firm but cruel. And also, why the name Stamford appears everywhere in Ashton.
Yeah.
Everything's called Stamford, isn't it?
Yeah.
Virtually. You might be called Stamford for all I know. Right, anyway, so you reckon there's a memorial to those who fell at the Battle of Flodden.
Yeah,
Flodden Field. That's quite interesting, that. You'll know, of course, that it's reputed that archers from Middleton played a significant part in winning the Battle of Agincourt.
Yeah, and in the window, though, there's the archers.
Yeah.
They've actually got, names on their bows.
Really?
Yeah, and places like Otwood, there's places called Butt, and it's actually from the names of the archers.
Oh, right. Well, that's interesting. I must do a bit more about that.
Yeah, they actually found it, the information from the local library.
Yeah.
And I actually, come across the Battle of Flodden Field.
Well, I'll look into that myself. But probably a few months ago now, the question arose as to, we've got lots of memorials. I mean, your business about Flodden, I'd take that's very interesting, that. But I mean, that would be privately done, I suppose.
Yeah.
But somebody asked us a while ago why there are no official, state-financed war memorials before the. Well, I think that what they said was, why are there no memorials to Waterloo, the people who fell at Waterloo? And I said, well, I think it's because nobody cared really. You just, you went in the army, and then you cleared off when they're done with you, if you made it. But apparently we worked backwards, that there are all the First World War memorials. There are memorials to those who fell in the Boer War.
Yeah.
Including the one outside Salford Royal Hospital, which my dad always used to tell me was my granddad dressed up, but it wasn't. And apparently there are a small number of memorials to blokes who were killed in the Crimean War.
Yeah, and that's going back some time as well, isn't it?
1854 to 57, yeah. So those are sort of official monuments. But that thing about Flodden, I've never heard that before, and that will give me something to do with myself.
Yeah, because it's actually, in the church, it's actually known as, the Flodden window.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll have some of that then. I think, wasn't Henry VIII the king at the time of Flodden?
Yeah, and believe it or not, Queen Elizabeth I actually donated money to start a school called Queen Elizabeth Grammar School.
Right.
And that's why there's still a Middleton Queen Elizabeth Grammar School.
Right.
And that's how it's got its name, short and quags.
Right, well, that's not bad, that, son. I like that. Thank you very much indeed. Stuart said there's an Ashton Arms, ASSHETON.
Yeah.
And a pub called The Archer in Middleton.
Yeah,
I've seen the pub. It's by the first roundabout you come to, isn't it, as you go in? Yeah.
And just behind it, there's actually a place called Asherton Park.
Right.
And then I know that he was actually, like the landholder, and they actually saw, the gentry archery there.
Right. What was his name? Was it Richard or Roger or something, wasn't it?
It was Sir Richard, Ashton.
Richard Ashton, yeah.
Yeah, and he actually got knighted on the field as well.
Oh, right, good lad. Promoted in the field, you don't get paid for that,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. If you're promoted in the field, you don't get paid until it's confirmed in writing. So there. Mind you, I didn't bother him. He owned half the place himself, didn't he? So that was that. Yeah, Richard Ashton. But I'm led to believe he was a bit of he didn't let you get away with much. He was a bit of a harsh landlord, I think I've read somewhere.
And I've been doing some research on the parish church in Middleton as well, and
yeah, probably haven't got time. Yeah.
And it's actually, one of the there's about 3 churches that's actually got, a wooden pier where the part where you keep the bells.
You keep your bowels?
Yeah, the bells.
Oh, the bells?
Yeah. It's only one of the 3 in England that's, made of wood.
Right, well, that's interesting in itself, but probably doesn't quite... Just call me a bit autocratic, but I don't feel that doesn't quite fall into the sort of thing that we're exploring tonight. Nonetheless, I'll go along with it. I'm grateful to you, Michael, because that is interesting about Flodden. Thank you. Flodden, who was it? James the... Woo! I would say at Flodden, James the 4th of Scotland was killed. That's without Googling it. I think it was James the 4th of Scotland who was killed at the Battle of Flodden, and most of the Scottish nobility. So, happy ending. Thank you. We've still got time to accommodate you if you want to squeeze on before we chuck it at 1 o'clock, and an hour of non-stop music comes your way prior to Sam Walker and so on and so forth. I was going to tell you something that might put a few bob in your hand, actually. If you've got... This will be of particular interest to you if you've got lice. If you've got head lice, you can sell it. You can sell them. Hang on, I'm trying to find it. Locally. Where is it? Oh, dear. I have got it written down somewhere. But somebody will buy your head lice off you if you can go to the trouble of collecting them. And, oh, God, where is it? I can't find it. I'm sorry. I bet now you're thinking, hurry up and tell me, because I have a proliferation of head lice, and I'm looking to unload them on somebody, but I can't find it. All right, I tell you what, I'll carry on looking while we have a word with Adam in Timperley. Hello, Adam in Timperley.
Hi.
Hello, you're on Key 103. Are you enjoying every little moment of life?
Yeah, very much.
Okay, right. Well, calm down. I'm trying to find this thing about head lice. Have you got them? I say, have you got them?
No, I haven't.
Okay, then.
Right,
I'll find it. Yeah. Go on, right, you're on Key 103. Get cracking. This is a fast-moving, white-hot exchange of infotainment.
Manchester Airport, I want to know why it was originally called Ringway.
Ah.
Because I'm not too sure why.
I am in no way sure. In fact, I haven't the faintest idea. Ringway. There was a... Now, I don't know which came first, actually. There was a Ringway... There was a Ringway dialing code, the old-fashioned dialing codes. There was a Ringway, but that may very well have been named because the airport was already there. I don't know, mate. I know it's where the parachute regiment did its initial training. It was set up at Manchester Airport. But why it's called Ringway, I don't know. It's one for us to look into, though, isn't it? I'm sure you'll agree. I've found it, by the way. It's Bristol University. Well, you can post them. You've not got any head lice at all, as far as you know?
I'm afraid not, sorry.
Pity. Scientists are offering parents £20 for their children's head lice. They're trying to find new ways to treat them.
What is that for each individual lice?
I don't... Oh, now.
Because, you know,
well,
some people are going to make a lot of money out of that.
I think if it's individual, that would be louse.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah, louse lice, mouse mice, house... Oh, never mind that part. Right. Yeah, head lice are becoming resistant. Super lice are becoming resistant to the cures which are available, and now they want to collect as many as possible in order to study them. £20. Oh, some will be studied at the university's veterinary department in Langford in Somerset. The rest will be sent to the United States. Brilliant.
For them.
Yeah. So it's just a word. I know we've got some people in the poor parts of our catchment area live in a bit of squalor. And they probably have got biddies.
I bet Phil's got them.
Oh, I would think, yeah, I should imagine he's crawling with them. Yeah.
Who was it you were asking us to take out earlier? Someone about peanuts?
Mr. Bryn Eccles, yeah, who imagines he is the inventor of the Eccles cake.
Well, you know,
that didn't happen.
We're not going to kill anyone. I just want to clear that up. I know one of my friends has come on boasting that we are, but he's a bit barking mad.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I think it's widely understood that people may have varied views as to the actual benefits of Key 103 as a concept, but we've never openly advocated murdering anyone, I don't think, really. Yeah. I don't think so. There's one or two members of staff. You know, if I thought I could get away with it, they'd be well advised not to walk down any dark entries, you know what I mean?
And who would that be?
But that's neither here nor there. But, you know, that's just a personal view and not that of the company or its representatives. I must stress that. Right. So what was it you asked me? I can't remember now.
Ringway. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll have a look up and I'll phone you tomorrow and I'll see if I found out.
That's not a bad idea. So the idea is you ring me up, ask me a question, and then you ring me the following night and give me an answer.
Well, there you go.
It can't fail. Right.
Unless you can get a better one.
I'll have a look if I can find out where Ringway comes from. There might be somebody listening out there in that neck of the woods, which, as you know, is rather privileged. There's some common people. There's a common person in Wilmslow who keeps sending me offensive text messages. But broadly speaking, they're a bit upper crust around there. So there might be someone in the style Ringway, or one at the old Darling code was Mercury, out in those parts. But that doesn't apply anymore. Anyway, get off. There we are. That was Adam in Timperley. Ringway. You got any idea? You live in posh parts, don't you?
Oh, I do, yeah.
You keep your face straight on this one.
Yes.
I've only asked you where you live. There's no need to wet yourself.
I don't know the answer to that, I'm afraid.
Right, okay. I think we've covered about everything there. Someone's very, very pleased with the explanation of New Zealand. Yeah? Apparently it's all down to a bloke in an office, a bloke drawing up maps, and he decided to call it New Zealand.
Oh, I can believe it, yeah.
Yeah. On such things do great moments turn. Have you got any catching up to do in the email department?
No, not really.
To round us off?
No.
Nothing?
Well, do you want to pass me over that then? And I'll have a quick look at what's
coming
last minute.
Because we've just got couple of minutes in hand to wind down. And just a reminder that at 1 o'clock we'll be handing you over to an hour of non-stop hit music on Key 103, and then Sam Walker will be taking over the reins. The regimental colours, I like to think of them as, at 2 o'clock, and marching towards the sound of Toolin' in the Morning at 6 a.m. So, if you've got nothing to do, if you're in unbearable pain, anything like that, then no point in you trying to get to sleep. Stay up and listen to Key 103 right the way through to, well, all the time. Never ever sleep. Buy something which gives you a mild electric shock the moment your eyes close, so you can carry on listening. That's my considered advice, and I am in fact a doctor.
There's a couple of emails that have come in.
Okay.
Briley Stubbs in Sale says, "Oops, forgot to mention that The Last Place on Earth was produced by Renegade Productions for Central Independent Television plc.
Thank God you remembered that.
Roger Moore played Sherlock Holmes in New York in 1976. Never Inspector Clouseau.
That must have been ghastly.
James, what happened to the good old days when it was just you on the show? Jackie is a burden. Everyone knows women are not as intelligent as us gents. Their place is behind the scenes in all walks of life. However, Jackie is always welcome to give me some sexual healing, and that's from Marvin Gaye the second.
Yeah. Not a Marvin Gaye 11, that's a cricket team.
Yeah.
Marvin Gaye the second,
Easy to get confused.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I'm here, you're not, so there you go.
So no.
So no.
I always find that's a very, very commanding and convincing way to to write fini.
Yeah.
To a conversation.
Oh, look at this.
So
Blood
no.
and stomach pills are on eBay.
Well.
Look at that. Parkinson's of Burnley. $4.99.
It's got PayPal buyer protection program. I should imagine it also needs a very, very comprehensive health warning on them.
Yeah.
Right, there you are.
Fantastic.
Perhaps you should buy some. Oh, you're funny. Right. Okay, that's done it now. I feel quite happy now. We've sorted out one or two things. That was very, very productive, and I hope that you know rather more than you did 3 hours ago. It's been very educational, as they say. It's definitely taught me a lesson. So we'll do the same thing. See what I mean? Ken Dodd, 1972, that joke.
It's great.
But it hasn't stopped me using it on an almost daily basis ever since. Right. We'll do the same thing at 10 p.m. next Monday evening, and we'll resume with the normal stuff, because I'm sure the human race will have come up with something appalling and contentious. It'll be an unusual day when it doesn't, between now and 10 o'clock this evening, when we'll resort to the normal demands for hanging and the repatriation of all foreigners, which is it's our life's blood. And
we love it.
We can't bank on it, but you never know. Maybe there'll be dog dirt involved. Serious issues, a touch of whimsy, it's up to you. It's largely... Done it again, haven't we?
Oh, you...
Well, there's no need for that. No need for that at all.
Do it now.